Hey guys, I hope that you guys are doing good. So here we are. We are at your pick a card for, well, we're kind of just gonna do like a personal growth check-in, but we're gonna get pretty in depth with it. So I'm going to look at sort of like your signifying energy, see if we can catch a vibe and see where you're at and where your current point of focus is, and what you might be learning or integrating or deepening your comprehension surrounding. What's aligning you and what's confusing you in that, and then your spiritual engagement and trajectory and what is supporting you there, and then also how your creative intention is taking form and what your sort of deeper motivations are and where those are leading you on your path. So yeah, I'm stoked that you guys voted this topic, this theme, this life theme. I'm really excited about the spread. I think it's just, yeah, I feel like I have this sense that you guys are doing big things. And I know that it's been, for a lot of people, it's been a season kind of like, it's kind of like, it sort of felt like winter came early, at least to me. And by that, I mean, like, it's felt pretty void-like. Maybe that's because we were in retrograde season and stuff too. Heavy retrogrades happening. And now, like, Saturn, Neptune, Mercury, all of these planets are going direct again. And it feels a little bit clearer. Kind of like fresh air moving through a room. But it's kind of, I guess we've sort of been in that death process a little bit, or a lot of people I think have felt like it's been a season of rest and renewal, whether that's like what they really wanted to do or not, whether that's something that spirit kind of like forced on them through them getting sick or them having to deal with like family stuff or whatever the case may be. So maybe some of you guys are feeling like you're coming out of that, and there's like a light at the end of the tunnel, or the energy's finally starting to shift, and that's exciting. Because I'm getting that sense of like anticipation. It's kind of coming through as the Nine of Wands energy, which is like you've done so much work, you've already put so much into motion. You should be really proud of yourself for that. So that's where we're kind of going to look today at like where you're at and how you got there and everything that you've done, and then like what that is co-creating with the universe, basically. So I'm really excited. This is the shit that I love, the intellectual, spiritual, and creative shit. That's my shit. That's my shit. So we have 3 different groups here. Okay. I already pulled the cards, and then these are the decks that I'm going to be using on top to clarify the tarot decks that I'm going to be using. So each group has a crystal. So group number 1, this is mahogany obsidian. I like to give it a little tap to activate it. It's energy. And then the Wanderer's Tarot. It's a pretty hermit card. That's kind of what the style looks like. Okay, so that's group number 1. Group number 2 is the blue calcite. It's a cute little guy. Isn't this just like the cutest color of blue? If a color could be cute, which it can, according to me. It's just like blue sky sort of just starting to change to a stormy kind of blue. And I'm like, yes, here for it. Okay, so that's group 2. And I think that this is, what is this? Like the dream tarot, I think. I don't remember what these tarots are actually called. If you guys want to know, then just, okay, her boobs are on there. If you guys want to know, then just ask me. I can't really remember. I know I got this on Amazon though. It's something dream, I think, tarot. So the star, but yeah, that's what the sort of art looks like. This one's really cute, this deck. So that's group 2. Okay. Group number 3. This is Nephrite Jade. Right. So pretty. And then this is the deck. Oh, the Queen of Swords. It looks like this. She came out pissed off in reverse though, so take that as you will. That is group number 3. Okay. That may or may not have literally anything to do with the reading, so just don't, unless that really resonates with you, don't worry about that. Okay. All right, you guys, I love you so freaking much. I'm excited to do this deep dive and just see where you're at. So if you feel comfortable, let me know in the comment section, like if this reading resonates with you and if it's helpful on your path. I have been doing the bare min and it's not lost on me. It's been my capacity and my capability lately. I'm trying to move and it keeps getting pushed back because of things that are like also stressful. So it's like numerous stressful sort of things like compiled onto each other. Not like anything like necessarily life-threatening, but it's like, you know, like moving is just like, you just want it to be kind of taken care of and then you can feel settled again. So I will be back with like, the good thing about this is I haven't had much energy, and I think spirit, it's funny because I mentioned that before, like you may have been sat on your ass by spirit a little bit. I feel like I definitely experienced some level of that, and I really experienced a lot of like integration and renewal in that time though. So I'm coming back. I'm coming in hot with a lot of like really inspired energy. So I'm excited to connect with you guys more and especially do more lives like I mentioned in the community tab post. So all that to be said, freaking love ya faces. The rest of you is awesome as well. I hope that you're doing so well. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3. You can pick more than one because we know that we are very complex, multidimensional creatures and we are capable of learning and growing in many ways simultaneously. So you could also maybe feel like if you're really close to someone that you end up cross-watching for them if you watch more than one. So just take it how it resonates, but you know how we do. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. As always, you're the best. And I will see you at your group. Hey, group number 1. How are you guys doing? Are you doing good? I hope that you are. Okay, so as you can see, we've got a lot. We're doing the most, as I am notorious for doing. So we're just pretty much going to get right into it. I do want to kind of start by maybe talking about your crystal a little bit. So you guys chose the mahogany obsidian. And I really like this crystal a lot. I used to use this for gridding quite a bit because I find it to be very protective, but also very grounding, but in a way that seems a little bit more gentle or graceful maybe, with its dispersion of negative energy or unloving energy than most black stones, I suppose. But this crystal, obviously, like if you feel pulled to work with this or called to like, yeah, look it up because there's crystals can be associated with like a billion things, right? But what I've found through working with this is that it's really great for providing strength, specifically in times of need, like providing vitality, so that you can fulfill your aspirations. It helps to eliminate energy blockages and relieve tension, especially like internal tension. And obsidian in general is really great for reflecting your flaws or your ego, your shortcomings, the spaces that just need a little bit of work so that you can have a clear picture of the changes necessary to eliminate sort of like resistance in your life. So it's very gently protective. While you do that work, it kind of helps sift through and transmute criticism and unloving thoughts that you might be having towards yourself. So I really do like this crystal a lot. Okay, so maybe you guys will, I guess we'll see, but maybe you're going through something where you are being a little bit difficult on yourself. You might be going through a big phase of transformation, or doing shadow work specifically, because it is, like I said, a protective stone. But you might be looking at specifically like reassessing the goals that you have, personal goals, like tangible goals. Whether that is like within a relationship or within just living a certain type of lifestyle. Maybe you just want to be healthier. Maybe you want your relationship to be more healthy or more balanced. Maybe you want to make some form of, any form of personal growth, right? That's what we're looking at. So whatever sphere of your life that has to do with, I feel like you have been shown, and this makes sense because we're just coming out of a pretty heavy retrograde season where we usually do revisions and stuff, and we gain different perspectives or viewpoints on things that we've been doing so that we can see if there's a way that we might be able to do things more effectively, more efficiently, just more like maybe resonant with who we are, or more aligned with us. So you could have been feeling that way a little bit, but specifically maybe that some places where you were perhaps self-sabotaging or getting in your own way have been highlighted to you. But I feel like also Spirit is working with you, or you are very diligently working to see what the cause of those things are and how you can kind of transmute or dissolve or just make small changes that are going to be really beneficial to the overall success of the project or whatever it is that you're invested in. So let's see what is going on with more detail. Okay, so your current energy and current point of focus. This is your energy. The 10 of Wands in reverse, love it. And your focus is the 2 of Pentacles. Okay. All right, well, you're just dropping it like it's hot. If it ain't, like if it's heavy, if it's, I'm feeling like you've been, well, I heard emotionally, but also just energetically strained. Like there may have been a lot of action around you. I'm almost getting like this noisy, overstimulated kind of energy, where maybe you're just feeling a lot. Maybe you've been also, there's been a lot of like telepathic heightening stuff and emotional heightening because of this grand water trine or whatever we've been having for a long time. That's been affecting things. So there could also be that you've just been picking up on a lot, like empathetically or compassionately, of energetic, well, I wanted to say residue. Residue from what, though? You have a choice to make, and that's what your current point of focus is. That's what you are looking directly at. So it's like you've offloaded something. Maybe you've made changes already in like your habits or whatever that is I feel like you either have or you currently are sort of sifting through your life, and everything is energy, right? So this could be you actually going through your physical belongings and like getting rid of certain things, but it's like an unburdening of energy, a dropping of weight, things that don't resonate with you anymore, things that you just don't need right now, or you don't need in the next phase of your life. And that could even be relationships or connections. And it's not like, oh, you're not useful to me, so bye. It's not really that. It's like things that you have actually outgrown that really do feel like they've kind of started getting a little bit heavy. Like they're past their due date, and you can already feel that. So it's like when that happens relationally with people, oftentimes the resonance just shifts, and so then things kind of can start to chafe a little bit, or you notice tension where there wasn't previously with people. So maybe there's something that's just kind of like shifting for you. But there's some sort of decision And it's like whatever space you've opened up, you now, I'm seeing, like, have choices in regards to what you want to fill that, so what you want to put in that empty space, or where you want to direct the energy that is now freed up. Tell me more about the Ten of Wands in reverse. This could also be a little bit of exhaustion, though. Like, sometimes going through that purging process is also quite tiring. You wouldn't, like, necessarily think, right? Because it's like, well, I'm just letting go of things. But it requires, like, to discern what it is that you actually are going to let go of. Oftentimes we have to feel into it, feel whether it resonates with us anymore. So that could be why I'm feeling this almost like frayed ends, like frayed, overstimulated. Like, I'm seeing someone who's, like, been electrocuted and their hair, or like shocked, and their hair is, like, all frizzy, right? It's almost like you've just had so much energy move through you recently that you could feel a little bit, your nervous system could feel a little out of sorts. Your stomach could feel a little out of sorts. For some reason, the solar plexus is coming through there, so associated a little bit with your stomach, your appetite. But I feel like you're just going through a huge energetic shift. But yeah, sometimes the purging, it can take more energy than we would expect it to let go of things. Is there anything else about that Ten of Wands in reverse? No, they want to focus less on what you've released, because it's more about where your focus is now and what you want to call in. So you don't really want to put too much focus here on what you've already let go of. So I just wanted to see if I'd missed anything there. But they want to focus on this Two of Pentacles. So what is this choice for group one here? You know what I'm feeling? The way that in this card, first of all, it's two equal coins, and they both say $20 on them. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little bit, my camera's having a struggle time here. But the way that they're balanced on the guy's fingers, or the person's fingers, it's making me feel like there are two equal parts. There are two parts of your life maybe that you're trying to balance. So for instance, this could be like the 3D, the physical and the spiritual. It could be the self and the other, you know, like your independence and your relationships, your personal pursuits and your community. So I just feel like there are two things that you are, in your estimation, they're kind of equal value to you. Not necessarily in physical value, but like they mean an equal amount to you, or you're aware that they need to be tempered for things to be healthy for you. There has to be some form of grounded, maybe even boundaries that keep something in a state of moderation so that you can have peace in your life. But it almost feels like there are two things that you really don't necessarily want to pick between. You don't really need to, you don't want to choose between them. You're more so making choices with this Two of Pentacles as I'm seeing it, in order to like maintain harmony and balance between two different things that you want to keep going. So that kind of just came through intuitively. So we're not gonna look further into that. Okay, let's look at what you're learning or gaining more comprehension or understanding in here. You might be integrating something here. Community and the Queen of Pentacles. It's interesting that I was talking about like the self and the other, or kind of like independence versus your community, your social community, your social network. Queen of Pentacles and community. I feel like that kind of is what this is for you. It's like you're forming healthy boundaries so that you don't give too much of yourself away to those around you, not in a selfish way, but it's like you are aware that when you do this, like when the Queen of Pentacles puts the Ten of Wands on her back, she turns into the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Like that energy, again, she's like that frazzled, worn out, like stressed out energy, right? Which is not her natural state. So I feel like you're looking at, That's so interesting that I said that. But yeah, I feel like that is what it is. You're kind of like looking at your community or the people around you, and you're trying to find a way to balance your energy. So this could be energetic input and output even here. It doesn't even have to necessarily, like, this could just represent, these two coins could just represent energy. I don't know, almost like channels or directions. Energy spent, like given and received, give and take, input and output kind of thing in order to keep things balanced, right? So it'd be like one for me, one for you, one for me, one for you kind of thing. Everybody's getting their needs met. But this is what you're learning right now. Learning, and I think you're comprehending too, that like unless you do take care of yourself, there's something magical that you can't fully offer. It's like you can't offer the full, you might be able to offer your light still, but there's the nuances of all the different shades of the prism of light. You're meant to make kind of a spectacular difference in the lives of the people around you, I feel like. Even just in showing up, like embodying your energy in a healthy way, you really do offer a lot. So you might have a very beautiful aura or just like resonance or vibration here that you just share. Can you tell me anything else about what group 1 is learning here with the Queen of Pentacles and community? It's like how to show up also when you're going through your own transformations with all the butterflies here on this card. When maybe you do feel like there's a lot that you are trying to balance, or there's a lot that you've been taking on. You're trying to find out how you can still be nurturing and sustaining for the people you love. So how can I still show up consistently? And how can I have things in place so that if something happens where I do feel overwhelmed. Oh, that's interesting. Where I do feel overwhelmed. Oh, what was I going to say? How can I be flexible? Or how can I adjust things basically so that I can still keep things balanced and maintained, but not sacrifice myself, I guess, to the point of burnout or something like that. So I split the deck to shuffle and the Two of Pentacles caught my eye, and it's interesting. These are both very like quite different interpretations, I would say, of the like kind of uncommon of the Two of Pentacles. This one because it has two different people with the Pentacles, and this one because of the way that they are, just how it is interesting to me. You might, for some of you, part of the solution here is like literally offloading or delegating to another person, or letting your partner or your spouse in a little bit more so that they can take on some of the responsibility maybe as well. But I feel like I also saw the Six of Wands in reverse. So some of you don't really have a whole bunch of faith in necessarily someone's capacity to like hold it down with you. Okay, there's a lot coming through for you, group 1. Damn, just intuitively. Okay, so what is aligning you with this, with what you're learning and integrating here? What's further aligning you? Wow. Okay, 2 tens. The 10 of Swords. Yep, you got pushed to a limit. And now you know your boundaries. Now you're like, that's my limit. I'm staying within it. I'm not going anywhere past that. And what is confusing you or pulling you away from this? The Two of Swords. Wow. 2 2s and 2 10s. That's very, very interesting. And technically that'd be like 2 2 2 even. Wow. 2 2 10. There's definitely something here about balance and keeping things like, I don't know. Even this Two of Swords is interesting because you can tell that, well, I guess you can't, but it looks like it's two different people holding two different knives because one has its nails painted blue and one has its nails painted red. So I guess that is an assumption technically, because it could be the same person with their nails painted different colors on different hands. But I'm noticing that this hand has a dagger stuck through the palm of it. Like, I almost wonder if this is like, sometimes we hesitate because we've been hurt, right? So there's something here I feel like that is kind of both like aligning and confusing you with what you're really integrating and learning right now. I almost feel like it's two different approaches or ways of looking at a similar situation. Or maybe it's not the way of looking at it, but more so the approach that you're taking to doing this reflective work. Okay, let's clarify more. Can you tell me about this Ten of Swords that is aligning? So this, whatever this is, and I hate to say this because trust me, I hate hearing it too, but I feel like it needed to happen in some way. And I know that that's terrible to hear when you've gone through something that really hurts. But there's something that it is highlighting. And even if what it's highlighting is like, that's where my boundary is. Like, that's where my compassion not ends, but that's where I can't commit to the point of like death. Like, this is draining the ever-loving crap out of, you know what I mean? If it's affecting you in such a way, then it's like there maybe wasn't a strong line there before. Can you tell me more about this Ten of Swords? It's like this has helped you define your own worth. Ironically, maybe it was somebody not seeing your worth or overstepping your boundaries continually, like deteriorating at your energy. I'm seeing this be mental though as well. It's like there's something that used to be streamlined and it could move all together. It's like I'm seeing cohesion with this snake. But the snake is like all cut apart by these razor blades here. And it's like, I'm almost seeing the razor blades so they're each a sword, right? So it's kind of like there's cognitive dissonance. Like something has cut up what used to be cohesive in your mind, a way of thinking. But I feel like it's something that needed to be pushed to that point of breakage, because what comes before the Ten of Swords is the 9. And so that is like a state of anxiety that keeps us stuck, very much so. So tell me more about that Ten of Swords. But I do feel this strong sense of like this, especially with this being what is aligning you with your worth more. This is something that was on your path and meant to happen, or bound to happen one way or another to illuminate this for you. Oh, I think that's too many. That's 4. Okay, we're just gonna, I don't want that many. The Moon in reverse. Something was revealed to you. A lack of balance, a lack of moderation. You could have thought that you were building something and you found out that someone was not as invested as you. It's almost like something had been reconciled without you, but you were a part of it. Like a decision being made for you that was then revealed to you. Like almost, so if this is a relationship, or if this is a relationship, it would be like someone gradually falling out of love with you. Like, not, that sounds very incredibly harsh, but you know, like when someone ends a relationship, it's like usually one person, the person who's ending it has known for a while that they were going to. It's almost like they maybe had a little more time to prepare or something like that. Not that they're like, I already fell out of love with you before I left, but it's like there's an imbalance. There's a lack of fairness there. You felt caught off guard by something. This could also be like, it could be anything, right? Like if this is work or a job, then maybe it's like your boss knew like a month ago that they were gonna lay you off, but they I don't know, they were talking to you at lunch about like plans next year for the camping trip that that the staff always goes on. I don't know, something like that. And you were like, what the hell? Like whatever was revealed. I feel like it showed you though who your people are and like what cannot be trusted as much. Even if that is like, maybe what was highlighted is a form of thinking that was very anxiety inducing or induced, like almost based on paranoia because of insecurity and past wounds. Almost like this is an old wound that has been extended and carried forth. It's like you couldn't figure out what to do with it quite, which hand to hold it in, and whether it was going to be something that was a weapon or a tool that you could use to align you and empower you, or whether it was something that was stuck through your palm, you know? There's been confusion, but this is clearing up with the moon in reverse very much. Some of you too, this is not necessarily something revealed to you through another person, but through dream, maybe. Dream or meditation. Anything else about that moon in reverse? Can you tell me more about that? I feel like this is kind of different for you guys, so I'm trying to find the boundaries of like where I've got enough nuance and what they are not going to further clarify because there's too many like different paths. This is things coming to light within you though as well, and that is why it is aligning you, because you're seeing where you weren't aligned. You're seeing where you weren't seeing the truth about, I feel like, how defensive you are. Maybe about the past and how you put a lot of time. There's some sort of truth about a deep disappointment of the past. You put a lot of time and effort into building a foundation, and it ended up feeling rather toxic, maybe. And again, there's this sense of like someone just leaving and then almost like immediately having a new investment. So if this was work, it'd be like your position is immediately filled, or like someone just goes and gets into a relationship with somebody else, or I don't know. There's something here though with that 10 of Swords that it feels like you went from like complete cohesion, just slithering along, doing your thing, to like, why are there 10 razor blades in me and nothing makes sense anymore? And I don't know what is happening. But it feels like with the moon, this can be your fears, your shame, your own woundedness, your own defensiveness. And I feel like whatever put you in that place of anxiety originally, it's like you've been seeing how you've been revisiting something so that you can see how it's affected you and the way that you view your own worth, the way that you relate to others, to those close to you, how much of yourself you share or feel safe sharing, how clearly you see yourself in those dynamics, how safe you feel. Yeah, I said how safe you feel already. Let's look at this 2 of Swords in what is confusing you. I think it's just that sometimes you're like, that really freaking hurt, and it still does. And it's like, you're like, I don't really want to always be in this high vibrational place where I'm like seeing that as a blessing, you know? And I totally get it. I mean, life and our emotions and even our thoughts, everything is transient, right? Everything is changing. The only constant is change. So just try to just witness, like observe what comes up when it comes up, but don't hold it. Don't let it define you. It doesn't have to be good or bad. It doesn't have to be something that hinders you or something that is like a support. It can just be what it was as well. But it is something that helps you see yourself in a clearer way, or it has lent to you knowing yourself better and specifically where your limits are. Surrounding how much energy you can give before you are like drained. But you were ready to break out of that old way of thinking, for sure. Because there's something here where you're meant to get not only closer to yourself, but closer to those that are in your proximity or that you have more intimate or interpersonal relationships with. Okay, more about this Two of Swords. Don't pick up the 10 wands again. Don't do it. It's like you move away from the past and then it's almost like you go back to it and you're like, oh, wait, I didn't decide. I haven't yet decided about that. But Spirit's like, no, you did. You already went through the whole like sifting through and releasing that which was heavy and doesn't matter anymore process, remember? So it's like what's not supporting you or what is confusing you is that you're actually looking at this and you see it quite clearly here. You know that it's been heavy. You know that it takes conscious, intentional, and consistent like practice to stay balanced and to take care of yourself here, because there's something where you didn't. But it's like when you go back, it's almost like here as you're integrating, you see yourself clearly in relation to the circumstances. You see your worth. You see what you contribute on a grander scale to those around you as well. And that's more from like a transcended vantage point per se, or trajectory that you're looking at things there. But then there's almost this nagging that's behind you here. And there's this part of you that still sometimes looks back. And it's interesting that it's the bottom part of her. So I feel like it's maybe subconscious. Maybe this is running in the background of your mind and it just kind of needs to be a narrative or something where you bring consciousness to that, like start noticing when it comes up and stop feeding that. But it's almost like here you have your truth is no longer in question. You're settled and you've reconciled things. You've dropped the extra weight. You're in a state of balance. Like it's all good. But then you can get sucked into this more shadowy, fear-based way of thinking where you revisit. It's like you get back on the fence, and on the fence where you were trying to decide about whatever this was and how it impacted you, that's where all the weight was. Yeah. So that's why that confuses you more, is because you might be tuning into something as well. So if this is a situation that does involve somebody else, you could have timeline jumped. When we learn and integrate, when we gain a deeper comprehension of something, especially something that happened that had such a profound effect on us, 2 10s, right? And the Queen of Pentacles is like Venusian Taurian energy. It's like you seeing your worth as almost like not the Empress, but just your innate worth, and remembering and being like, right, I'm worth love. I'm worth reciprocation. I'm worth inspiration and people seeing my vivid colors and like praising me and giving me attention. And it's like not in a selfish way, again, not in like a I need this validation, but I'm worthy of like seeing and caring for and honoring my own worth and value and beauty. And I'm worth other people seeing it too, right? So here it's almost like part of what threw you off here is that I feel like you didn't really see it coming. You'd put a lot of energy into something, but it could have felt a bit like a game of snakes and ladders where you weren't really sure where you were on the playing, like the board, And then suddenly the game was over or something like that. But it's the revisiting of like convincing yourself that you haven't yet made this decision, that you haven't reconciled, or that you don't know where you stand on something, that your truth has not been kind of like settled. And that doesn't mean that it's not flexible, that things still can't shift the more that you learn and grow. But it means that like the truth that you've settled on that has brought you to this space of healing and balance is not going to be unwound. Like the work that you've done isn't going to unravel, essentially. Okay, damn. I feel like I'm like losing my breath because I'm channeling so much for you guys. It's just flowing right the fuck through. Yeah, there's been a lot of intuitive and spiritual gifts and things and psychic things opening up. So just bear with me, guys. I'm still kind of learning how to work with my newer sensitivities and things like this. But okay, let's move forward. So I want to look at the spiritual trajectory. So this could be either like your current spiritual engagement, you're already in it, or the trajectory, what you're heading towards. So we kind of looked at the intellectual there, what you're kind of letting integrate in terms of your consciousness and comprehension and higher learning. Now we're going to look at the spiritual, and then we'll get to the creative and wrap up with some kind of like overview. Okay, so spiritual engagement and trajectory. What is the spiritual engagement? Beauty. Okay. It's interesting too, because it's number 6. 6, 6. The devil is 15. And then 2, 2, 2. Or 2, 4, 5, 6, you could say as well. 6, 6, 6. Our friend the devil's in the... I'm just kidding. Wow, that's very interesting though. Okay, so this is Capricorn energy. You are an energetic fucking powerhouse, aren't you? Yes, you are. I see it. Also, there's something about snake symbolism here that's quite significant, maybe. I don't know if that's I can't tell what that is. I think I'm gonna look in the book and see what this says here. I'm just curious. I don't know that much about this card. Benzai, is that a G? Benzai again? Okay. But so the devil is obviously not, I mean, it's literally Capricorn's major arcana card. It's not always toxic, even when it's in the upright. The devil can just talk about like passion and being very, very driven, and to the point sometimes though of where, again, you kind of like forget that your body has physical boundaries, needs, limitations. So I joke about this sometimes because I have a Capricorn Mars, which is Mars's exalted placement. And I also have a stellium with that Capricorn Mars, and it's all in the second house. So, Lord, it can just be like a very intense focus on your dreams and goals. A very strong sense of, it can be a responsibility because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, but also just like enjoyment of the grind a little bit. Like, I like knowing that it's almost like there's worth in knowing that how much you put into something, right? Like, it's like if something is easy to get, to obtain, it almost cheapens it in a way. Not everything, but certain things, right? It's like you want to build a relationship maybe, instead of just jumping in and pretending that you have all this gained trust and understanding of the person, right? Because it does take time. So with your spiritual engagement and trajectory, because I'm feeling a tie between this Queen of Pentacles and the beauty. So let me just see. Okay, so this is a Japanese goddess. Oh, that's a T. Benzai 10. It says, you are at your most lovely when you're being yourself. Knowing, accepting, and honoring yourself as a spiritual being in a physical body requires self-care. Oh my goodness, this is so fucking... Now is the time to support yourself by surrounding yourself with beauty and choosing to see its power in every aspect of your life. If you can commit to doing that, you will be amazed at how much more beauty arises to greet you. Open your eyes to the wonder everywhere, even in the most unexpected places. Beauty waits to be discovered. Consider this before you turn away from a person, place, or thing. Beauty is everywhere. It's your time to find it, and this goddess will help you. Wow. This is very interesting that it says that part at the end about considering that beauty is everywhere and you can find beauty in anything before you turn away from a person, place, or thing. I feel like this is saying you're finding the beauty again in what has been difficult. You found it's almost like maybe you had to lose something, but you found yourself. Maybe you had to go through something difficult, but you now have this grander perspective and understanding of the beauty within yourself, what you offer others. Again, like you have gained a beautiful understanding of exactly, well, of your capacity. I don't even know, like capacity to bring beauty and like this nurturing, tender, expansive kind of spirit to the world around you is what I feel from that. Let's clarify this a little bit more and get more into that. But there's something that you're seeing now through the lens of beauty, and where it might have felt very oppressive and restrictive at one point, I think that you're maybe understanding that the reason that something felt that way, it could have been because you were so on the fence about reconciling it. And it was the weight of that unreconciled truth that maybe something wasn't fair, or that something broke your cohesive way of like moving through life or thinking of something up to that point. And again, I'm feeling like that was a good thing, like that was ready to happen. Can you tell me more about Beauty and the Devil, please, here? It's like Beauty and the Beast, but Beauty and the Devil. Let's see. New twist on an old Disney classic. You think they'd buy it? All right. What is this beauty? But they are also highlighting that there's something that you're like on this journey as you move forward spiritually along your trajectory, and how you engage with both yourself and like the spiritual realm and the physical realm. You're going to be taking care of yourself and your own needs, which is something you're already learning and integrating. So you see how like what's integrating intellectually into your mind and the way that you perceive things is then directly being projected into your spiritual trajectory. It's really gorgeous. It's a whole new, fresh approach, a much lighter, a genuinely beautiful approach that will enrich your life. It's a whole new way of looking at something that maybe you never thought would enrich your life. Like you were like, I feel at one point you would have looked at this thing and been like, there is no way that I can look at that. There's no way that I can flip that to make it not suck, you know? And the 10 of Wands, the 10 of Swords, and the Devil, yeah, I feel ya, homie. Like that's rough. So just know that you've come a very, very long way here. Okay. What is supporting you? Kind of like externally. What is supporting you on this trajectory? The Six of Pentacles. Aw. Okay, well, it's beautiful because it's the natural, it's like what you are naturally attracting through being in this balanced state of, input and output of personal energy. Then you are pulling in reciprocated give and take dynamics. So there's something here with the Six of Pentacles that sees your worth, and it's meeting you at least halfway. This is something that is not unfair. It's balanced. It's giving as much energy, time, effort, attention as you are, and it is supporting you externally in your quest here forwards. It's interesting though, because although this is like a mutually symbiotic relationship I'm feeling, there might be someone who's more in need at this time within the connection, and someone else may be offering energy, personal resources, love, some sort of like uplifting romantic kind of gesture or something, because they currently have a lot more to share. So someone could be showing up to support you at this time, because this is the supporting, what is supporting you, right? And I can see that you're moving through this thing, or coming out of this thing that's been kind of heavy. So I feel like almost this is you here at this point in time. But overall, this relationship is balanced and mutual. It's just the stage that you're kind of going through now. You might need a little extra like TLC or attention to help you remember who you are and to honor yourself. Okay. So the Six of Pentacles could be anyone too. It could be a friend. It could be a lover. It could be a child, like a child that you have, family member, anyone really. Okay, they're not giving anything. Oh, the Two of Swords and the Nine of Swords. This is someone who is seeing that. So interesting. I talked about the Nine of Swords coming before the Ten of Swords, and there it is. They know that a decision that you have had to make, or that has been on your plate for some time, has been incredibly, like, it's stressed you out. This could be someone that had something to do with that too. Like maybe they were the reason that, not the reason, but this could be like, again, a boss that was like unclear about something with you and then put you in a position where you had to make a stressful choice, or a partner who couldn't make up their mind about like what their values were, or what they wanted out of a relationship, or what they had to offer. And they know that having to make that choice under those circumstances stressed you out, or something like that. Or it could just be a friend who knew what you were going through, and like this is someone that they're privy to this whole process, what you've gone through and what you're coming out of, and they're offering something supportive because they see that clearly, what you've been through. It would make sense though if they had something to do with that imbalance previously, and now they're kind of open to supporting you a little more. Okay. But you could, again, remember how this card said, before you walk away from someone or something, right? So for instance, if someone is trying to open up and share more with you now, you could be slightly triggered, right? Or if something is coming back around, if your job is calling you and they're like, hey, we're seeing your worth now, like now we want to offer you your position back. We want to give, and they're kind of ass kissing because of what happened before. I am kind of getting that it's worth giving this another shot though, whatever it is, because it can be reframed, because this is not something that was strictly, like it wasn't just deception, betrayal, lies, terrible trauma, horrible things. There is something that came from this, and there is something that was very positive, and also something about leading up to the state of the Ten of Swords had to do with a state of anxiety that you had already been in for quite some time before something pushed you past that point of no return. So there's something here that may be like triggered or frustrated or inflamed, like a wounded space or a sensitive or tender place maybe. But I don't think that it's what caused the initial cut necessarily. But you would know. So your creative intention, or how your creation is actually taking form. So this depends where you're at along that path. Like if you're still setting your intention for what you want to actually create or manifest in the physical, or whether this is actually already kind of taking form. What that looks like: groundedness, gravity, and the Knight of Wands. Groundedness and the Knight of Wands. I feel as though there's something that is a lot more balanced, and in a state of moderation, which makes it like almost the Lovers rather than the Devil. It's like it makes it beautiful rather than being erratic and impulsive. It grounds something. It anchors it. It brings in this gravity, this force. Okay, so this is what you're manifesting in. There's something that's very similar to you, but also deceivingly so. Not in a bad way. It's like there is just as much different about you as there is similar, but there is a lot similar that has been highlighted maybe between you and someone. Or just like a situation or opportunity that is very, very well suited to you maybe. Like something that you really see yourself reflected back in. So your intention is basically to take something that has felt like too much, and it's felt like something that made you anxious and insecure and question yourself. And what you're basically doing is through shifting your own healthy boundaries and maybe offloading or delegating some of your tasks, but basically you're just self-care, honoring yourself, balancing out your energy, and learning how to sustain or regulate yourself in a healthy way. What you're manifesting or bringing into form then, or what you're intending, is a more grounded way of moving forwards. However, it's not boring at all. It's grounded, but it's like it's still very exciting. It's still like adventure. There's still like the roll of the dice. There's something here about that where you don't want to give that up. You don't want to compromise that to take care of yourself. Maybe that was a difficult thing in the past. Like you wanted to have fun or you wanted to do everything. That could be kind of like FOMO, right? But you can't do everything and still take care of yourself properly. So that could have been why you had to like sift through and discern truly what it is that has to go. Anything else about this Knight of Wands and groundedness? I feel like for most of you, this is primarily you. It's the way that you move in a more adaptable kind of way, but you're still anchored and rooted in. So you know your truth and you know when you push yourself too far. Yeah. The deeper motivation that is influencing you here through this process is the Knight of Swords in reverse. Okay, so we've got two knights here. Okay, and then this is more subconscious. Says good fortune. Trigger statement, there is not enough. True statement, I attract abundance. Feel the joy you would have once you've reached your goals. Here and now, you will achieve your dreams fastest that way. So that is your subconscious motivation. And then your more conscious motivation, you have hope in reverse. The trigger statement, I will not forget. So because it's in reverse, you're more in the triggered space here. So it's interesting because consciously, because you're focused on this, right? You're in this space of like, I will not forget. My heart will not forget. My heart will not open because I'm scared of this happening again, right? I can't move forwards with confidence, like showcasing my beauty. I have to move forwards defensive and restricting myself and my energy. Scared, right? But it says, release the suffering and take another step forward, sweet one. With each step, you will see more light and healing. But it's interesting that like underneath in your subconscious, your spirit is like, I attract abundance. Like I am valuable. I am worthy. I am beautiful. You know, your spirit already knows and is pulling these things towards you. But the Knight of Swords in reverse is someone who is obsessed with what it is that they don't know or can't see. And it's because you're focusing on that, whatever that is for you, I feel like group one, that you're throwing yourself into this kind of like more hopeless, or it's like you're not able to hold that hope, like the charge of it, without falling back into again, but what if? But what if there isn't really beauty to this situation? What if this was just super toxic and painful and traumatic? Or what if someone just, you know, exploited or took advantage of me blatantly? But it's like your spirit is like, even what you don't know it's okay, because even worst case scenario, we know that we are innately abundant and expansive, that nothing can really truly ever be stolen from you. No one can truly take anything from you because it's in the way that you perceive yourself, right? It's not actually stealing anything from you. So I want to see more about this though. So this is what's motivating you. Your spirit so fucking wants to expand into something highly, highly fortunate. Like, I feel like this is your sacral. There's a lot of creative energy here. For some of you, it has to do a lot with generously giving to some form of community or being devoted to service in some form. Even if, again, that's just showing up, embodying the beauty of your aura and just kind of like letting that spill over onto people. Is there anything else about this, the motivation, that you want to highlight? I feel like that's kind of very straightforward. Yeah. So let's just close with what's coming next, and then the big picture theme, phase, or kind of like overall growth that you're doing right now. So what is coming next? The Eight of Wands in reverse, and the Well, which says seeking truth, wisdom, insight, intuitive knowing, return to the source, and getting to the bottom of things. Okay. There's something that has a lot of energy that is charged in it, that you're not really seeing at this time. And I think that's because there's still something that you're meant to uncover within yourself. So it's almost like something is showing up here. It's like it's veiled. It's like it has an invisibility veil over it, but it's still there. But it's kind of on ice, or it's like this is not, it seems like it's winter, like this thing has gone to bed, it's hibernating, nothing's happening maybe. So if this is like a person, maybe there's no communication between the two of you. If you're searching for a job, maybe this is like there's nothing breaking through, you know, no one's taking your resume or getting back to you. This is in the near future, what's coming next. But whatever this is, it's like the pause of energy here is meant to push you into internal truth. And it's interesting. I think that is because I think this motivation is exactly why this is what's coming in the near future for you, honestly. Because it's like you're defensive a little bit and worn out over what it is that you don't know. And with the Knight of Swords in reverse, again, right? That is like, it's someone who's obsessed with what they don't see, and they're letting it steal their hope or bring their energy down. And Spirit is basically saying here, rather than looking outwards or trying to seek validation or waiting for communication to clear things up or something like that, things are going to pause to force you to, or to sort of turn your sight to look within, because intuitively you do know you are the answer. You don't need to seek the answer. You can get to the bottom of things, but you just need to seek the truth within yourself and not be afraid, like be truly open to it. So there's something here about surrender though. They're wanting to move you into an energy of surrendering what you don't know and you can't possibly know. because I think that it's fear and overanalyzing, like this happened. And so this happened in the past. So therefore, like, I need to know that it's not going to happen again. So I need to have the answers and know what I'm moving into. Or maybe it's like, I can't move forwards from this. I can't forget until I understand the, like, why everything happened the way that it did. Whatever that is, that's not the important part to focus on right now. Or if it is, then it's just you're looking in the wrong places for the answer. So they want you to go internally here. Let's see. Can you tell me more about what's coming in the near future here for group 1? The 10 of Cups in reverse and the Page of Cups in reverse. Oh man, okay. There might be a little tiny bit of triggering there. 3 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. 6 of Cups in reverse. I'm not entirely sure if this is... Let's see. Is this an inner child wound around like emotional true fulfillment? What is truly fulfillment? You have another 10 there as well, by the way. The only 10 we don't have is the 10 of Pentacles so far. We have the 10 of Wands in reverse, 10 of Swords, 10 of Cups in reverse. My goodness. The Lovers. Your spirit knows that something is love. Something is expansive. Something is fortunate. Something was attracted via your abundant spirit and your worth. You are achieving your dreams faster because subconsciously your spirit already knows what you're worth, and you've already started receiving support and moving in that general direction, okay? It's just where your mental, like where your conscious mind sometimes gets sucked back into. It drains your energy. And there's peace as you seek truth, because there's wisdom that you've gained from this and you're integrating. It's just like maybe you're not ready to move on that yet. Or maybe you're not ready to communicate that yet, clearly. But something is, you manifested something that is true. However, it may not have completely worked out the way that, it's almost like what I was talking about here, where I was saying that I feel like whatever came in and pushed you into the 10 of Swords, where you felt this, the weight of that, right? And this, I don't feel like that's the thing that caused the initial wound. I feel like it maybe poured some salt in it, or it irritated it. But this could be for a lot of you like an inner child wound that got irritated, the weight of which you had not ever fully dropped. And I'm seeing this as like a false sense of invulnerability. Or no, sorry, a false sense of vulnerability, but really being very shut down because you don't actually believe in true emotional fulfillment. It's like, that's a fairy tale. Or like, okay, but all I've ever experienced is this. So make it make sense, you know? There's something where I feel like there is a beautiful opportunity, but it is a choice to take it with the Lovers. It's a choice. And in order for it to be beautiful, like the Lovers, not the Devil, it has to be seen through the lens of not this. So it's almost like it's been put on hold while this part of you becomes okay with what cannot be known, okay with just being present in the given moment and accepting what is offered to you, and just being really appreciative of that and giving generously as well when it feels, you know, when you feel so called to do so. I feel like the truth that you're going to find is love, though. But you're scared to look because you're scared of seeing this. That's why you're seeking external validation that something is what you want it to be, I think. you're scared because things that maybe you thought were that in the past, maybe even like your family unit, your parents or something, right? You thought something was this in the past, and a very innocent and pure part of you got attached to the idea of that. And it really did fuck something up in your internal, like in your brain's like hardwiring. It could have really pushed you into like either just a feeling of fight or flight, like feeling of unsafety, being triggered, having like a lot more cortisol or stress, hormones releasing to the point that then your body just feels like that's normal, you know? So then we get stuck in that state and we don't realize that we're at the 9 of Swords and we've been there for like a decade, you know, straight, like legitimately. So yeah, you're being pointed in this direction, even though it feels uncomfortable, for a very good reason. And I feel like it's because something is not actually as heavy or nefarious maybe as it seems, or as you're afraid, your worst fears might have you believe. There's something at least beautiful, whether that's just a lesson of how to move forwards with all of you being honored and trusting yourself also, or whether it's moving forwards with someone else also involved. Is there anything else about what's coming next? No. Okay, let's take a look at the overall theme here to close things off, group 1. So the spiral and the sun. Holy shit. Whoa. Okay, so Leo energy is here. The spiral and the sun. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to read this to close off. I want to show you this because for some reason the visual is it's very much standing out to me. Actually, they're saying to show you this card close up too, so I'll show you both of these. I feel like you're meant to spiral upwards into the sun rather than spiral backwards into a state of groundlessness, trauma, you know, feeling burnt out, victimized, like deteriorated, on the fence, back and forth, anxious, you know, all of these things. Okay. Let's take a look at the book here and see what it has to say about the spiral to close. Okay. So the essence of the spiral, it says, from galaxies in the sky to diminutive shells at the beach, the spiral is found extensively in the natural world. Its shape in the form of a coiled serpent has been used, since ancient times as a tool for growth and transformation. The spiral is a guide for entering deep into one's consciousness and the unknown, and then extending far out into the heavens. It's crucial to surrender to this journey until the exhausted paradigm dissolves in the depths of the psyche and its energy is released to give birth to a new reality. Holy fuck. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys this because I feel like you might wanna take a picture of this. Okay, because that seems very fucking relevant. Okay, so I'm gonna read that part one more time. Okay, the spiral is a guide for entering deep into one's own consciousness and the unknown, and then extending far out into the heavens. It is crucial to surrender to this journey until the exhausted paradigm dissolves in the depths of the psyche and its energy is released to give birth to a new reality. The invitation to renew yourself, you must shed your old skin. You have already done this, so do not keep scraping away at the old, but welcome the soft new skin that is starting to grow. Break the habit of working on your faults all the time and let nature take its course. Know that a new skin feels vulnerable and scary at times. Trust the medicine of the spiral as it guides your journey of renewal. And the medicine says the spiral announces a descent to the depths and a rebirth. Allow nothing to get in the way of this process, as the time is right and the forces of nature are supporting you in this endeavor. Using stones, twigs, or yarn, build a spiral on the ground that is large enough to walk through with at least 3 turns. Enter the spiral slowly. Once in the center, offer to the earth the feelings or situations that you no longer want in your life. As you walk back the way you entered, feel recharged for your new journey. Wow, that's very interesting. I've never heard of that ritual or done that before, but that's very simple and that's quite powerful. So maybe you guys want to do that. Okay, let's see if there's anything else that wants to come through as a final message, group number 1. But I really hope that that was helpful to you and resonant. You're definitely moving through a lot here. You've already moved through a lot, though. You're on your way. You're doing great. Anything else about the spiral and the sun here, Spirit, before I let group 1 go? They're just highlighting 10 again, because technically 9 and 1, so this would be 10. 10, 10. The 10 of Cups also came out as well. There's something that it is aligned, and the answers that you desire are coming. You're going to have peace to move away from this, to not allow that to pervasively like infiltrate the beauty of your path forwards. Okay. This new paradigm is still dissolving, so give yourself some credit and give yourself some grace, patience, understanding, and acceptance as you move forwards, group 1. But that's what I see for you. I love you so freaking much. It's crazy. Thank you for being here, though. And yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there. But I will talk to you guys again very soon. Bye, group 1. What is up, group number 2? Hi, you guys. I hope you're doing good. I just want to quickly mention before we get into your reading that I'm doing your reading the day, so it's the night after. I did group 1's reading last night. I'm doing your reading and group 3's reading tonight. So there could be a connection between your reading and group 3. I don't know. I haven't done group 3 yet. I haven't done yours yet either, obviously. There could also be a connection between yourselves and Kali. You might want to look into working with her, or she might be reaching out to work with you. Only take that if that resonates for you. Kali is a Hindu goddess. She is one of the forms of Shakti, the feminine divinity, basically the feminine side of divinity, Shiva being the masculine. And she is very much about liberation. She's very much about breaking bonds. She's also one of those energies that is, how do I even explain her? She's not really that easy to explain, which I love about her. She has many facets to her. And even when you look her up, she appears in many different forms that carry many different archetypes almost. So she has a very mothering vibe, but it's like, fuck around and find out. Okay, so she's very bold. She's a very bold energy. She'll let you know also if she wants to work with you. From my personal experience, she's quite adept at being in your face enough that you notice that something's trying to get your attention. Excuse me. Okay, see, this is how she works. I went to clear my throat and she was like, don't forget to mention the throat chakra. Like, she very much works with the liberation of the voice as well. Some of you guys are definitely, there's something happening perhaps with your throat chakra and just the liberation of you embodying and expressing yourself, your most authentic form, whether that's shifted recently, or whether it's something that maybe you've never felt comfortable doing. She could be assisting you in that. So look more into Kali if you feel called to do so. She might come through more in this reading as well. We'll see. She's like I said, she makes herself known, and she is definitely into house. And she reached out to say that she wanted to work with me again. Well, I've worked with Colleen many times, but like I said, she usually comes to me. And that just happened earlier today. So she hadn't yet reached out when I did group 1's reading. So that's why I say it may be significant to you. But you guys chose the blue calcite. It's interesting too, because this would be a throat chakra stone. Okay. So blue calcite is very good for kind of like gently soothing energy, specifically encouraging rest, ease of the mind, relaxation, peace. It helps to aid memory and learning as well. And it's quite a purifying stone. So it can absorb, filter, purify, specifically emotional energies. I find this stone to be very clarifying in that sense. So it kind of transmutes heavier emotional energies as well. So maybe you're going through a transformation, or maybe you have something to say and you want to add a little bit of grace or tact as well to what you're saying, but you still want to, like, you want to say something in a positive way, but you still maybe want to set a boundary, or maybe you're learning how to express yourself from more of a peaceful, less triggered place or something like that. So maybe that's just a couple of the things. Slippery little guy there. Okay. I'm hearing that song Slippery by, who is that by? Gucci? Slippery. Excuse me. So I don't know. You might want to listen to that. I'm not really sure. Okay. I think it's by Gucci Mane. I'm not really sure. Okay. So group number 2. Let's get into your reading here now that we've gotten those little intuitive nudges out of the way. We'll see. Well, yeah, I'm sure as the reading unfolds, we'll see what significance that stone, if any, has for you, or you might just want to work with it at this time. So let me shuffle this clarifying deck. So we're going to start by looking at your current energy, sort of the direction that your energy is naturally embodying itself and expressing itself in at this time, where your current point of focus is. So just get a bit of a starting point, and then we're going to look at what you might be learning, integrating, or deepening your comprehension in from sort of an intellectual or cognitive standpoint, what's helping you align and what is kind of confusing that process as well. And then we'll move into some more spiritual depth, what kind of spiritual engagement or trajectory you're on right now, what is supporting you, and that will be like an external energy or archetype as well that's actively supporting you. And then we'll look at your how your creative intention is coming into form, what the deeper motivation behind that creation is, what's coming in the immediate future, and what the kind of big picture phase of growth is. Okay, let's take a look. Let's start with you and your current point of focus. The Fool and the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. Interesting. Okay, well, the Fool is Uranus energy. This is the after tarot that I'm using for your main spread, and I'm using a different one to clarify a full deck. So the pictures on this deck are supposedly they're the artist's interpretation of the scene after the original Rider-Waite. So that's why they look a little different. So the Fool, instead of balancing and almost taking a step off the cliff here, has taken a step off the cliff, but they're just still having a good time. He's losing his pack. He's sniffing the flower though. He's got his rose. I don't even think he has any shoes on really. And the dog is just hello, bruh. You good, bro? What you're focused on, the being the Page of Pentacles in reverse, is interesting because there's two different... There's the true Page of Pentacles, but he's giving his pentacle, or he looks like he's considering giving his pentacle to this little garden gnome dude. For who knows what purposes, but it did come out in reverse, which is interesting because the Page of Pentacles in reverse could be maybe someone that needs something that you have to offer, but it might be not the most opportune time for this person to be, I don't know if they're asking for your help. It feels like some part of this is pulling on you, because their hands, the little gnome's hands, are up, reaching towards the pentacle. And it also feels like a part of you is kind of knowingly engaging with. It's like you're aware, you're acknowledging the situation and engaging directly with it in some way, maybe. But the Page of Pentacles in reverse could be like, that's either maybe it's not the wisest investment right now, or you can't really offer what you would like, or maybe the other person is not available to receive, or else again, it's just that this is depleting you maybe at a time where you've already got quite a bit going on. But your head could be slightly in the clouds. Keep in mind too, we're in like the last couple days, I think, of Neptune going direct. Neptune's about to go direct here. So there's going to be a lot more clarity where things have been a little hazy, or even like kind of fantasy-like. Because everything can feel quite dreamy when Neptune, well, with Neptune in general, but when it's reversed, when Neptune is retrograde, though, things can be a little bit like Twilight Zone-y at times. So let's get some clarifiers for this. Tell me more about the Fool. Why is group number 2 in the energy of the Fool currently? Uranus, though, is an energy of like the only thing you really can anticipate is that change is the only constant, and that you are not going to anticipate what does come next. It's like the only thing you can expect is that you really can't have any expectations, because whatever it is that you start thinking is the thing that's going to happen, Uranus will show up and surprise you. It's very revolutionary, but in the way of almost like the element of surprise. You know what I mean? Like you're forced to act differently because you're not expecting something, something like that. So 4 cards came out: the 3 of Cups, the 3 of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, and the 5 of Cups in reverse. Okay. So there's 2 pages here, first of all. This could represent someone else in your life that they might be a little bit younger than you, or it could be you and you are younger, or you could be, again, because you're leaping out into a whole new phase with the Fool here, you could just be feeling like a bit of a beginner at something. Like I don't want to say amateur, but like, yeah, you have beginner brain. You're just taking your first steps on these new Bambi legs or something surrounding whatever it is. This could have to do with communication. And so it could be either you or somebody else. So take that how it resonates. I'm getting a pretty strong energy that for a lot of you, there's someone outside of you here, but we'll see how that unfolds. But someone here has communicated some sort of healing information, or they've come forwards to express themselves that they're curious about healing some past grievance or hurt. But it does look like this person's coming through maybe with not a whole lot, like maybe in a bit of an energy deficit in some sort of way. Like maybe they've just come through processing some heavy grief. And I see that they have an open mind, curiosity, a willingness to connect and maybe share ideas or communicate. They might not be super willing to give a lot of their time and energy otherwise, but I feel like it is because they're kind of depleted in some way. But it feels as though there's the chance here, there has been, maybe this is what you're leaping out into, to reconcile and build something where there was previously grief. And if this is just you, then you're reconciling something within yourself and you're building a solid foundation for yourself, but you're almost having to like deconstruct something so that you can put it back together again, maybe from a healed place. You could feel like the process of doing that and communicating it to other people, if this is you, is difficult. Because see how like all of these people here, their backs are turned and this person's coming in to try to express something, but it's almost like this person's back is even almost turned. So even this person here, whether that's you or someone else, you trying to explain to people and you're feeling a little bit like misunderstood or like others just don't really get what you've gone through. But it's almost like, do you even fully get what you've gone through yet? You haven't almost, or this person may not have fully integrated completely yet. They could have had an emotional release, but maybe the intellectual understanding hasn't caught up and totally clicked into place. But yeah, whoever this is, there is a highlight on curious kind of Gemini-esque energy, exploring, adventure, openness, communication, fun. And there's this general idea of like, I've healed or I want to heal and I want us to grow together. So this could just be a friend. It could be someone new that's coming into your community. Okay. So I want to see a little bit more about that Page of Pentacles in reverse. Temperance. Okay. For a lot of you, you know what? I feel as though this is you and a past version of you, and you have grown a great deal. You've grown a great deal, but it still feels like you're starting over again. Like it still feels like you're on new legs because, okay, here, help me out, spirit. Okay, so this is starting to become clear. I just need to figure out how to actually like speak it. I feel a lot of this is happening this season in Sag season. Temperance is here and it is the Sagittarian card in the major arcana. But Temperance talks about being able to find a state of balance and harmony within yourself, to balance like the water and the fire, the masculine and the feminine, all of the different dualities, and to self-regulate and be in that consistent state, and to be able to do that and hold your balance and baseline of harmony as you are always expanding as well and learning. So it's really a card of quite deep self-mastery, internal self-mastery, and being that peaceful, safe place for yourself, and then carrying that with you wherever you expand to. But kind of constantly needing to readjust and redefine as well, because as you take new information in, you're going to be readdressing any cognitive dissonance. You're going to be readdressing your beliefs and values, blah, 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 your relation to others, all of these things. So it's a very dynamic energy, mutable fire, right? And so I feel that you are a very dynamic person and that you're growing a lot right now. So I feel that you're quite invested in your personal growth journey and quite conscious and intentional about it. You're leaping out into some sort of potentially unexpected, it's like being slingshot into a phase of great expansion. You may have asked for this. Maybe you asked for expansion or more for in the physical realm, like for the world around you to start reflecting an internal state that you've grown into recently that is more peaceful and more abundant, but like without having to do more. And I feel like that is coming for you, but it could feel a little chaotic at this exact point. And that is because you're just getting your bearings. Things might feel a little even like groundless, but I'm feeling like the past version of you here that you're kind of reconciling with now. So you're kind of deconstructing maybe like the relationship you even have with yourself so that you can forgive yourself. With that 3 of Cups, 3 of Pentacles, then you're going to rebuild your solid foundation on this solid ground. But it's like you're trying to offer, a certain part of you, a very specific part of you that I'm seeing as being like a little bit like dwarfed. So by that I mean like not like naturally not meant to or able to grow as big, right? But because they're both you, this would be like an outgrown version of you. Like you shed skin and you are now this version, right? I hope that makes sense. It's kind of difficult to explain, but you're trying to give loving energy and maybe hold space for that part of you that you have outgrown, but you're also setting those new boundaries and yeah, basically just getting your bearings about you. But it feels like this past version of you, it was kept small by maybe limited or insecure thinking about yourself. Also maybe jealousy or envy or there's lots of like more shadowy things that stem from when we start feeling super insecure, right? And it's not that it's our intention or even our personality or in alignment with our integrity, but sometimes we get afraid or we don't feel worthy or we start comparing ourselves to others. And before we know it, we have these kind of like negative spaces where we just feel even worse about ourselves. I feel like this new version of you, because here is the Page of Pentacles in this deck, in the upright. You've shed this more insecure skin. And now you're leaping out into something new because of that. It feels like a whole new world, but that whole new world still feels new. So that's why it's like you're still the page. It's not representing how much you've learned and grown and mastered yourself. It's just showing you that you're the page because you're in the first steps of this new reality. And so it's kind of like a blank slate. And again, you have to have, there's the universe, the world, when I split the deck. So you've just closed a huge cycle and you're getting your bearings about you. So it still feels like you're on those little like wobbly Bambi legs slightly. All right. What are you learning, integrating, or gaining a deeper comprehension surrounding? Miracles and the Magician in reverse. Damn. Yeah, that's more insecure. And I just mean with insecure, it's like not fully comprehending, not fully seeing and bearing witness to your own power, your own potential, your own greatness. And the thing is, realizing that potential can be embodiment in any moment, any present moment, right? And all we have is the now. So every moment is just every now, right? And in any now, when you're in that moment, you can choose to see yourself one way or the other, capable of co-creating with the universe, the magical forces that are yours, and the magical forces that are that extra spiritual element. But I feel like Spirit is saying, like, there have been miracles that have wanted to, you're learning something about the nature of manifestation, is what I want to say. There's expansion to a very high degree, to the degree that it feels like, no, this is like a divine blessing that has occurred, that are meant for you. And I feel like they're meant to kind of shockingly break through, even without a lot of effort from you, as I said. But the trick is, and what you're learning is that what actually needs to happen is you need to remove the mental resistance and barriers between you and the belief in your own power, because the magician in reverse cannot function. It's like a magician that doesn't know their tricks, right? They reach into the hat and there's no rabbit to pull out. Like they really cut a woman in half, you know, like they've got some problems on their hands. And they could be great, but they have to learn, they have to believe in themselves, and then they have to speak to themselves and embody themselves as the magician. This is mercurial energy with the magician. It's the Mercury card. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing with that. That's what you're learning, something about that. And I feel like that more, that part of you that for whatever reason was not believing in itself, in, you know, the part of you that was not believing in themselves, that Queen of Wands in reverse, I think that's the energy that you had indirectly been manifesting from. And so you could have been getting mixed results, like getting something that you want, but not the way that you wanted it, or getting an opportunity, but then the opportunity falling through, like almost immediately, something like that. Okay, let's clarify that a little more. Tell me more about miracles and the magician in reverse. Why is this what group 2 is learning or integrating? But it's almost like there can be really great things right on your doorstep, but you can, your free will and what you choose to do with your power will trump any force outside of you. There are certain things that happen that you don't know are coming, and then you can just choose how to respond to those things, right? Like you can't know everything before it happens and then like choose with your free will. But certain things, you can very much choose. And so if you're manifesting something, but you're manifesting it from a place where you're not truly believing in yourself, then you are saying to the universe that you don't believe that you're worthy or ready for that. So your free will is going to get in the way of any force external, you know, it's going to call it in, but then push it away out of fear, right? And you're always going to win. So if you're insecure, then yeah, your manifestations are going to come through that way as well. I hope that that's making sense. Oh, the heck? Okay, that's way too many cards. Spirit's like, shut up, you're talking too much. Okay. You do too much. Let's see. Okay, so I guess there's nothing really to clarify further there. Let's look at what is aligning you with this integration. The Four of Swords. You're taking time to yourself to rest, and just honestly, like what's helping the integration is that you are conscious of it and you are giving yourself time to rest and rejuvenate and integrate this. It's interesting because there's a girl in this card, and she's putting a flower on this person's grave. And here, the Fool is holding a flower, a white flower also, and smelling it. Here, though, the Fool is alive, and the Fool is the first card of the major arcana, taking a new step. Here, the person is literally dead, that this person is offering. So it's interesting. I feel that there's been like a rebirth into a new reality. You might want to look up the symbolism of a white flower as well. But I think of like peace when I think of white. Again, and temperance already came out for you. I feel that this is someone outside of you though. I mean, it could be your higher self, but it almost seems like there's someone that you're not really aware of because they're wearing this like cloak, and you're very deeply in this phase of like taking the time that you need to rest. You're finding truth in past pain as well. That's part of that. But it's almost like someone is honoring, like they're aware of your process, whether you've actually communicated it or not. And they are honoring, maybe not only honoring the time that you're taking without disturbing you, but actually sending like helpful, healing, or peaceful energies towards you. Something supportive. This could even be Kali, if it's just like maybe you haven't noticed her yet. So for some of you, if that resonates. But I do see this as like what is supporting you or aligning you in this integration. You're already doing it. You're already taking time. And I do see there being like some sort of physical energetic depletion. So it's almost like you weren't expecting. You were going to take a step, but then you kind of you slipped off the edge, but it's not looking like you're super concerned. There's still an energy of like good vibes. It's just reflecting on why, like what got in the way, not rushed in that reflection. Maybe not rushed because you feel safe for some reason. Someone could be helping you feel safe through this transformation. Someone offering look at this. The bottom of the deck. There's the Magician in reverse again. It's like when you are at your, when you feel weak or insecure, someone I feel like has been helping you, whether this is, again, like a spiritual guide, your higher self, something has been helping you transmute and drop heavy energy. It's coming through as a feminine mothering sort of energy. And they know that you are taking this new opportunity. You could have a new opportunity with some sort of feminine energy too that's significant, and it could be them that's helping, but it is coming through strongly as a feminine energy. It's coming through as very grounded though. I feel like this is a real person for a lot of you. But if anything, they're offering physical protection. So you might not be like, while you're taking time again to rest and recuperate, you might find that not a lot of people are calling you. And I wouldn't be feeling like nobody cares about you if that's the case. I feel like your energy is being protected because you are in a bit of an insecure place while you revisit certain things that you're healing. And you're going to have a breakthrough, but you do need to continue. It feels like you need to remain focused in that investment to just rest and let things fall and click into place in this calm, emotional, and grounded state. There's something about that's going to be very replenishing to you. And I strongly get that something is helping you with that. Someone is helping you hold that space. Okay, so what might be confusing this process is the Hierophant in reverse. Damn, you've got a lot of majors coming out here. Okay, this is Taurian's card. Taurian energy in the major arcana. Hello, doesn't this freaking thing have autofocus? Okay, so the Hierophant in reverse, that's an energy of feeling ungrounded, but it's also an energy of being tied to something that is outdated and traditional. And the thing is, like Uranus, you are in Uranian energy, which is not traditional at all. Not in the slightest. Again, it's like the shock factor. It's you doing the thing that is not traditional, the thing that's maybe going to ruffle feathers. But it is genius. You know, Uranus energy is often connected to like the geniuses, but they're the ones crazy enough to try certain things that no one else will, right? So the Hierophant in reverse, it could be that you're being judged or you're judging yourself for thinking outside of the box, or for maybe like leaping out into a completely new type of experience. It's almost like you're second guessing, but you've already left, I feel like, what once was. You're clinging on by like a couple fingers. So yeah, that would be confusing, this process, because it's almost like if you've Like, let's say you've literally shifted timelines, or you've gone through a portal, but you're in a different reality. You've transmuted something, you've closed out a huge healing cycle. However you want to look at it, it's like you have evolved into a new place, and you couldn't go back even if you tried, right? Because you've evolved beyond that. It doesn't resonate with you anymore. And so you're in this place where this new reality is kind of putting down roots, and it is renewing your mind, body, and soul, I feel, and even your hope. So then to slip back into this would be like to try to climb out of that timeline back into like a traditional comfortable box, maybe even like a complacent to some degree box. But whatever it is, it just doesn't fit you anymore. So yeah, that would be very confusing, and it would affect, I feel like, this integrative process. So I want to say, like, don't be afraid to push the boundaries of new, but you could also have people judging you outside of you, maybe family with the Hierophant. It's like someone that doesn't know what true wealth and abundance is trying to tell you what the most abundant and expansive path for you looks like. And I'm feeling, or else you're still looking at a very fortunate, expansive path through the lens of still not really seeing the fullness of your own worth. But this is in the past. Like, these are here. You see what I mean? Two different timelines. The perspective of the old timeline might be getting in the way of the reality of the new one, if that is something that kind of makes sense. This is feeling quite Twilight Zone-y. It's very interesting, the vibes that I'm getting from your group. This past Mercury retrograde could have been very interesting for you. You could have specifically had like a huge influx of insecure type thoughts, like lots of fear, doubt, indecision, overwhelm, even like frustration or broodiness, stubbornness, because this is the Jupiter card, the Wheel of Fortune, and Jupiter like amplifies everything it touches, and this is kind of Mercury in its shadow. So you could have even had moments where you were very untrusting or had trouble discerning like what you truly believe is possible, what you truly want, who you even are, like your identity, your embodied identity, and how you want to express that. But also, like, can you trust the people around you that are making maybe big gestures or big promises, but it's like it seems too good to be true. With these cards, though, it's not. It's showing me that it's not. There's something that's not too good to be true. In fact, you're very much being guided towards it here. It's kind of inevitable, I feel like, at this point, honestly, with that Fool. Okay. So let's look at the spiritual element now a little bit more. We've already been talking about it, obviously, in a different context, but the way that you're actively engaging spiritually, or like your trajectory that you're kind of on in regards to your soul path here. Freya, I love it. Radical acceptance with the Knight of Wands. Hell yeah. Okay, so it did come out this way, which I love, because it's like you're being fueled by this radical acceptance. This is beautiful. See, you're at peace in the present moment because you know that this version of you is dead. This version of you is dead. This version of you is dead. That's why that's what's integrating. Your awareness of your true worth is still integrating. I think it might be having some issues, though, because your point of focus maybe like where you're still tired, still depleted, lacking, where you feel like a beginner, but you doubt yourself because of that, because you don't have that same established knowledge of whatever you'd been doing traditionally. But that's a good thing in this case. So I feel like the path that you're on spiritually is one where you're going to continue gaining more and more confidence, even in the unknown, because you're going to say, well, from here, it's like there was only up, right? Because that didn't fit me anymore and it was slowly suffocating or strangling the life out of me. So, and I wasn't seeing myself clearly and I wasn't expanding as much as I could because of that. So there's this forgiving of oneself. And I think the reason you're so at peace here is also because you're literally moving towards this on your spiritual path, which means your spirit is embodying and integrating this more and more and more as you move forwards. So yeah, this beautiful, you're just becoming more filled up with this radical acceptance and seeing more of the true colors of yourself, which is a good thing. And then you're allowing yourself to be inspired by that as you move forwards. This is almost moving out of you though, like it's coming out of you almost as its own force, like exploding out of you though, while you're in this, I want to say, because the way here that they are on the table, the cards, right? It's like this. So it almost looks like you're doing this work. You're here in your conscious, like you're actually making the choices to be in this energy, to take care of yourself, to rest, specifically your mind, to question, but to challenge yourself, but try not to be so hard on yourself, right? To be at peace and to rejuvenate. But then there's like this energy as you forgive yourself more, as you call back more of your power, as you sit with even the shadowy parts or the parts that you perceived as having fallen short in some way. You're sitting with that and you're not judging it or criticizing it. You're offering it this radical acceptance, which really is just unconditional love and consideration. And it's driving this very passionate, full of desire and inspiration and life force energy and sexuality and sensuality and just, you know, the Knight of Wands is just fucking alive in action, not just hypothetical thought, you know, in spirit. Like their spirit will not let them sit still. So yeah, this is kind of bursting forth. And I almost feel like this is going to burst forth more fully once these last fingers, once they drop. And it's interesting, as I was saying that, I saw that scene on The Lion King where Mufasa, where, what is the name of Mufasa's brother? I can't remember. Simba's dad, but Simba's watching, right? Or Simba sees his dad fall, but it's Scar. Wait, Scar or Mufasa? Wait, Mufasa. What am I even talking about? I can't remember if his name is Scar and his brother's name is Mufasa. Is that what it is? And I just got them backwards. Anyways, you know what scene I'm talking about. The one that scarred you as a child. But yeah, it's like you might be villainizing forces that are kind of acting to pry your fingers off this ledge, because it's like, am I falling to my death? But you're not. You're falling almost to realize that you can fly on the way down. And then you're being shot out of this cannon and you're flying and you're realizing that you are the one that is, you're building your own wings. Like you are the one that is fueling this. It's your energy, your life force that's animating all of this. So that's very inspiring, beautifully inspiring moving forwards. You may also want to work with Freya. She's beautiful to work with from personal experience. Absolutely love working with her. Okay. So what is supporting you externally here as well in this? Although I also see that like you have your own internal state, potentially somebody else that's here, or a guide. You also have the Three of Wands in reverse. there's someone or something that's not waiting. It's kind of coming through as like a now or never energy. So you could be experiencing this as the universe kind of pressuring you, or you feeling this sense of like, oh, an opportunity is going to pass me by if I don't take it. I do actually feel that there is a time thing with something here. There's something that is not waiting. So whether there's another person, it's interesting because there's a hawk here flying, like the guy is like letting this hawk go, which is a messenger energy. So there could be someone that is not communicating with you externally, or this could even be your guides that are not totally communicating. I feel like that's because they want you to trust yourself. They want you to look internally and pull that confidence out of yourself. And there's something about that that's like, it's time to get that engine running now, right? Because there's something that you're being thrust into that you're meant to act on from that place of understanding your power. So whether this is like a situation where someone else is taking the back seat, where maybe they have been leading thus far, or someone's not talking, it's because maybe you're the one here that's meant to start making some moves. Yeah. Seeing yourself as able. Totally capable, ready, and able. Okay. But there needs to be for sure that faith in yourself and hope in like good things. It's just the approach that was taken previously can't be the approach that's taken now. But it, like I said, it couldn't be even if you wanted it to be, because you've changed way too much. Okay. So creative intention or form that is taking shape here. Fluidity, outer core, and the tower. Whoa. Mars energy with number 12. It says fluidity, outer core. Okay. You're gaining, you're becoming more flexible. And again, not in theory, but in action. But this is very, I don't want to say funny, but it's like what you are manifesting at this exact moment. I feel like it's because you're holding on to this ledge still. I'm not going to lie. And you might be kind of in this place where you're like, I'm just blissfully ignoring the fact that I'm swinging from a cliff. You know, I feel like when Neptune goes direct, if that's you, you won't be able to do that anymore. And it's like a tower moment will come in and shake you, and pry those fingers off. But again, these are forces that are actually helping you. So I feel like you could be villainizing potentially, but it's because you're not seeing that that's actually what is the best. It's like that's what's meant for you right now. It's strengthening your outer core through making you more fluid. Again, through taking you out of something that might be very fixed and structured and established. But that's not your way. That is not your way. And there is something about physical assertion because the tower is the card of Mars. The next time Mars is in a mutable sign might be quite important for you. I think it is right now. It's still in Sagittarius. It's going to be going into Capricorn soon. So the period where Mars is in Sagittarius might be quite important for you to take action, or you might need to be flexible during that time. You could be, there could be things that come up that you feel like you have to act in a way that you haven't before, or things could be somewhat unclear. You're just meant to take a new approach, I feel like. Yeah, how your manifestation is currently taking form, it's interesting because you're somewhat in this in-between space still where you keep, there's this one part of you that's very stubbornly sticking to how insecure they feel moving forwards and seeing yourself as bigger, seeing yourself as worthy and capable of this expansion and to hold the things that want to come and drop in your lap. They want to be yours. But at the same time, there's this groundless energy where you can't fall back on what you landed on before. And that is why the only real option is the tower, the impact or the influence that pries the final fingers. And this is ultimately, like I said, happening. Yeah. Yeah, this is happening so that you can reconcile a new way of existing that is much more fluid. It's much more mutable. It's much more go with the flow. And it's easy because you are just moving in your natural, inspired life force energy and allowing that to guide you, right? Rather than second guessing yourself, hesitating, being afraid, being doubting, not trusting other people, not knowing what you can trust, right? Like all of those are very exhausting energies to be in, especially over a long period of time. Yeah, mentally draining, and then it becomes physically draining. So there's something happening here that is helping you move in a completely different way in this new reality. And you are actually manifesting it, ironically, through attempting to hold on to or not walk away from something in your old reality that it feels like it's some sort of disconnect from yourself emotionally, or not. This could be you not tending to your emotional needs, not being honest with yourself about the things that have been very emotionally disappointing. But your thoughts have shifted. You do see things differently, and now you have choices to make. And it's like either falling back into a state of not inner harmony, not inner peace, or breaking out of these old cycles for good and allowing yourself to be motivated by something very different. So speaking to that, we are going to look at what the deeper motivation is that's impacting you right now. And I'm going to kind of look at the overall motivation, but also like one motivation that's more subconscious or unknown to you, and another that is more like you're aware that you're being motivated by this. So overall, it's the Eight of Wands in reverse. Okay. So I am seeing here, though, there is definitely a lack right at this moment of movement or communication. Okay, because here it's like you're clinging, so you're in a state of suspension. Here you're focused on something that's not coming into form right at this moment. Here, what is aligning you is you being in this very still energy. Here, the Magician in reverse is something like not being said or acted on as well, right? Mercury. And then here, there's another person potentially that's not sending, like not moving towards you or speaking. And this also speaks to that with the Eight of Wands in reverse. It's like sending a message, shooting an arrow, shooting for the bullseye. You're being motivated by an energetic blockage or stagnancy. It could also be a state of confusion that's happening while things integrate. Okay. But yeah, that's very much motivating you. So I feel like you do feel as though you're ready to start moving again. Or you want there to be movement in some sort of connection or experience or circumstance with, maybe if it involves others as well. So subconsciously, it says repellent, shielded. Trigger statement, I am under attack. The true statement, I am strong. You will clearly see what you are taking on from outside influences and release. Your energetic boundaries are fortified. Okay, so this is your third eye. And this is subconsciously, you know, intuitively, right, your third eye, that you are strong and that you are protected, and you are being motivated to break out of this stagnant state and push yourself forwards from a different place, right? A more assertive place, a more confident place. And that is what is motivating you subconsciously. So you might not, it's interesting because here it's your conscious mind that is causing you to think that you're not strong enough, that you're not ready for something. But in your subconscious, what is actually motivating and driving you forwards is your knowledge that you are. And it's becoming more and more clear that there have been some sort of external influences as well that have been, yeah, see, it's that Eight of Cups in reverse. There's something that you haven't been walking away from that's been highly emotionally unfulfilling. And it's been putting you in this kind of like uninspired, not vulnerable or open or receptive space, because you keep engaging with something that does not, like when you reach out into that place, it doesn't fulfill you. So there's something there, and that could be anything. It could be a habit. It could be a way of seeing yourself and perceiving yourself that is immature or outgrown and doesn't fit where you are at now with the healing that you've done. Your conscious motivation, it says metabolic self-worth. Trigger statement, I am disgusting. True statement, I am a miracle. Please be gentle and love yourself. Provide your body and mind with what it truly needs to carry you on your journey. So this is a solar plexus card. I love that it's self-worth because you're aware that you're doing this work. Radical acceptance and the Knight of Wands. You're resting because you know that you're moving into something and there's really no worries. I feel like for most of you, it's not like a state of escapism, but there is this one little part of you that you might not even be aware of. It could be holding on or clinging out of like second nature, you know, like out of like a habitual thing even, or a compulsive thing. You maybe haven't even realized what parts, like something that you're still holding on to that is just so traditional and like rooted in or programmed in or conditioned in that you haven't actually, it hasn't hit you yet that is what needs to be released. But I feel like it will in the near future here. So it's interesting. You're very motivated by the awareness that the energy is not going to shift unless you do. You also know that the way to shift the energy is by offering yourself more love, more confidence, more self-worth, more gentle acceptance, and nurturing those places that don't believe that you are strong. You know that is the only way to shift this energy. So you're very much shifting the way that you feel about yourself and the way that you act, like how courageously you're able to act. And it has everything to do with how you are looking at yourself. And looking at everything else by extension. So, okay. Let's close off by looking at what is coming in the immediate future for you, as well as the big picture, the last sort of big picture framing of the situation that Spirit feels it would be beneficial to leave you with, kind of thing. Okay, so what's coming up in the near or immediate future for you? Completion. This is so... I love this. This is the self-worth journey and you finally seeing your reflection clearly. You're literally looking at worth and seeing yourself reflected in it. That's so fucking beautiful. And it's happening because you're completing this cycle. The full completion is taking place. The fingers are being pried off. The new way of perceiving oneself and the world around you from this gentler place, which then allows you to move with such passion and confidence and freedom, is clicking into place. And completion says final attainment, victory, a crescendo, a job well done, perfection, peak performance, and prudence. I got like this like big thing in my throat as I was saying that. Like I felt like I really wanted to cry. Man. So this falling all around her, that is like confetti, but I was seeing them as like little butterflies. I feel like you've died a million deaths along this journey. This has not been just one short. This has been something you've been working on with yourself for a long time, I feel like, group 2. And it's just that feeling of absolute satisfaction when you wake up and you're looking in the mirror and you're realizing, like, I'm seeing myself completely fucking different. I'm talking to myself completely different. Like, I fucking made it. There's something there as well where a phase of time where you did feel like you had to be prudent with your physical energy is closing. And it's because it has everything to do with you clearing out that mental junk again, right? Because we determined that most of your energetic leakage there or drainage was happening from you exhausting yourself in your own mind or doubting yourself or other people, right? And having to go over that, which is exhausting. So there's this energy that's closing where you're able to perform better as well because you're not in your head. And you can express yourself freely and authentically without feeling like you have to like put everything through this filter, which is not authentic and doesn't feel good, right? But there's a phase coming where you're not going to see yourself as someone who's incapable of energetic output and truly devoting to tasks that take more life force energy, whether that's something creative, relational, something that needs a strong physical energetic output, whatever that is. I love this reading for you. I love it. And I love that Kali is the goddess of like liberation. And this whole reading is about you being liberated, liberating yourself. Oh, okay. Let's take a look at the overall big picture theme here. They're not clarifying that. I think that says what it says. Okay, the Rainmaker in reverse and the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. I really feel like what you're realizing here is what has been fucking up your manifestations. Because this is even coming through as like no rain, right? Like I can't make it rain. Make it rain. Cash money. I wanted to do that with these, but I was like, no, Lisa, don't do it. You're going to regret that choice the second that you do it. But it's like not being able to make it rain, quite literally, with that 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Not being able to call abundance in towards you and not understanding why that is or what exactly is getting in the way. This is the overall phase or cycle that you're moving out of, that you're closing. It's interesting because I feel like this card wanted to be kind of put overlapping the Fool. I think that this is what still has its claws in you a little tiny bit, or a hook in you, the old programming. And it has something to do with lack-based mentality or needing to like really like hustle for something. Not being easy to manifest abundance is how that's coming through. So maybe you have like even a religion or a culture that is very much focused on, like hustle culture, or a religion that's focused very much on like having to earn things, you know? It feels like something deep like that, though, the way that it's conditioned in and how it's kind of clinging to your back here. But then you're experiencing it as like you're compulsively or habitually holding on to it. But I don't feel that you're conscious of that. So just be aware of that and you'll know what that is for you. Okay, I'm going to read this card, the Rainmaker, to close things off for you. Okay, the Rainmaker. So the essence. The Rainmaker is the master of manifestation who can call on the elements of nature to serve the greater good. When the power to co-create is used with integrity, great beauty and benefit flow to all. When this power is used for personal gain only, everyone suffers. When the earth is parched, the Rainmaker calls the waters from the heavens, and all that is dormant in the fields and in people's hearts spring to life again. The invitation. The Rainmaker is calling you to create something new from the elements that are already in your life. Be sure you work with what is and not with what might be or could have been. The seeds that have been silently germinating in your heart will burst forth. ready for the sunlight. Do not hold back. Put all your chips on the next roll of the divine dice. Okay, and then pay special attention to the medicine here because it did come out in reverse, indicating that there might need to be, you might need to apply the medicine of this card to yourself. So it says, recognize how you are co-creating your world. Nothing is happening out there without your involvement. Remember that the world is mirroring back to you the condition of your love and your intent. So change these within before you take any action. Do not take life personally. So again, part of this could be just not seeing yourself as like, as capable, or taking some things personally because you feel that you've, like, life has kind of beat you down. Essentially like a bit of a jaded, I'm not really getting like victim, but like jaded, like kind of getting to the point where you're like, of course that's happening, like taking things personally, but really it is your thoughts that determine your suffering. It is how you speak about the world and see the world and how you therefore co-create your world. You're involved in all of that, right? But you're already knowing this. So it's basically saying just continue what you're doing. But yeah, through your heart. The seeds that have been germinating that are wanting to bloom, they're in your heart. And they need sunlight to burst forth. So there will be a phase where you come out of this state and there's more exposure in some sort of way, I feel, or something coming to light maybe, or you communicating something or taking action that could be coming up soon. Okay, I'm just gonna see if anything else wants to come out quickly before I let you go. Anything final for group 2 before I close this reading? I really like that though. I hope that this gave you the guidance that you need at this time, or validation. But yeah, it should be validating because you're very clear and intentional, and exactly what you are observing and allowing to integrate is coming to fruition, and it's going to show you how capable you are. The King of fucking Wands. Yes, bitch. And the King of Pentacles in reverse. Wow. Right now, your spirit has a lot more faith, a lot more confidence. Like your desire, your inspiration is trying to motivate you. It is motivating you. But I think that you're focusing on that element because it's saying you're motivated by the 8 of Wands in reverse, right? Which is like the energy that is not moving. And I think that you're seeing the energy as not moving because you're focusing on here, the Page of Pentacles in reverse and the King of Pentacles in reverse, the way that the energy looks in your physical surroundings. So like the world around you, whether a relationship is coming together, whether you have a lot of money, whether you got a new job, that sort of thing. But they're saying that actually the growth that is taking place and the energy that it is moving, first of all, very, very, very rapidly, very rapid expansion and evolution. And it's starting internally. It needs to start with the spirit, the mind, and the heart, the emotion, those bodies, and the physical realm always follows. As within, so without, always. It's a universal law. But the physical realm takes a little bit longer to shift because it's denser energy. Okay, but I think that the reason that this is taking a little bit longer to shift is because you're seeing it again through the lens of the King of Pentacles in reverse. Try to see it through the lens of the King of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles, and that will help that. Okay. Because it feels like you're using that fiery life force energy, and you are using it to motivate you, but you're motivating yourself through like still focusing on where you're not, or where the energy feels like it's not moving, like almost using your own frustration to pull these beliefs out of yourself. But there isn't a little bit of an easier way to do that. So I think that that's just what they wanted to highlight. Okay. All right, my loves, I'm sending you all the ooey gooey warm vibes. I really do love you. Let me know in the comment section if this resonated for you. If you want to chat a little bit, I'd love to. And yeah, but for now, I'm going to let you go and get on to group 3. So stay safe and well, my loves. Bye. Hello, group number 3. I hope you guys are doing really well. Yeah, so it is the day after. So I planned to film all of this reading in one day, and I ended up filming each group on its own day. Every group made it very clear that it wished to be in its own energetic kind of like vibe. So that's obviously why I felt the need to do a pick a card reading instead of just a single reading as well, because I feel that there's definitely some pretty significant differences in what you guys are going through. I'm obviously channeling when I do these readings, and so I'm not processing through my like analytical mind, and so a lot of things are stored like in my subconscious about the readings, but not necessarily remembering what they were about unless I go back and actually rewatch them myself. So I can't really say how different the groups have been until I actually do that. But I will with this reading for sure, because I'm interested in seeing something about group 3, though, that is interesting. Another thing is that when I did group number 2, I put the same jewelry on just for like, continuity. What's the word I'm looking for here? Like, yeah, I wanted it to kind of like look like not super different. And I had this ring on, but yesterday when I was doing group number 2, I put it on the middle finger accidentally. Like I forgot that I had it on this finger. So this finger is ruled by Saturn and this finger is ruled by Mars. This is Venus. I think that this is Mercury and Jupiter, maybe, or else the other way around, can't remember. But I thought that was interesting because it's almost like, so this is a moonstone ring as well. I feel like maybe group number 2, and I didn't realize it when I was filming them, so I didn't mention it, but maybe they are kind of being guided through some sort of karmic process or something right now, closure, and they need to be intuitively connected to that. But I noticed it and I put it, because it was a little looser on this finger, and I was like, why does it keep on spinning? And then I realized that I had it on this finger before. So I'm putting it back there for your reading, and I think that being the Mars finger, like your pointer finger, and it's on my right side, which is your the masculine side of the body, I feel like you guys are taking action. There's something very much about asserting your energy. And that doesn't need to necessarily be, well, we'll see what comes up in the reading. We'll see, but yeah, I don't want to say too much. It's a very interesting energy though. It's a lot of energy with you guys. I feel it's almost like this bubbling up. What can I compare this to? It feels like it's coming up from my sacral into my solar plexus, and it's kind of bubbling, almost like how you feel when you're just about to drop on a roller coaster, or when you're just about to talk to the person that you've had a crush on for like forever, and they're like walking your way. You feel like you might throw up a little bit in your mouth in a second, There's something like the energy, I don't know if it's just nervous anticipation. For some of you, it could be bordering slightly more on fear. But let's talk about your stone before we dive into the cards. So you guys chose the jade, and specifically this is nephrite jade, which is a little bit different. It's a different variety. And it's more tough. And yeah, it's more durable. It's known for being very durable, and it has a lot of deep cultural significance as well. In China specifically, they call it the stone of heaven. And in Maori culture, they carve. There's lots and lots of carvings and stuff with this in this jade because it is so strong. So it is valued for being both practical, like you can make practical tools out of it, but also intricate art. And it has a large resistance to breaking rather than just hardness. So I thought that was interesting when I was looking at the differences, to mention to you guys, it said it's prized for its resistance to breaking, which is toughness rather than just hardness. So it highlighted the difference between toughness and hardness, and how one almost like has a purpose. The purpose is that it resists breaking. It's strength. It almost reminds me of the strength card, actually. And hardness is more just like rigidity. You know what I mean here? You picking up what I'm putting down? Okay, so it's also funny because there's major deposits in Canada, in BC, which is my neighboring province. Also in New Zealand, Russia, and China. So, yeah. I thought that was very interesting. It also is interesting because most of the tools and weapons, it is known for being great for axe heads and knife blades as well. So it's kind of more like on the weapon side of things, which is quite interesting. But yeah, jadeite, which is the other form of jade, is known for being a little bit more like vibrant. It's more of like an imperial green. I have some. I can show you the difference, but yeah, I don't think it's that important. But anyways, if you guys want to look up more about that, or if you resonate with this stone and you feel like you could work with it at this time, you are welcome to go look that up more. And there's also jade, I feel like, is known for being, or at least when I think of jade, I definitely think of like luck, good luck, being associated with that. So, yeah, you might want to work with jade. It's grounding, but it's also kind of like, I want to say unifying. That's the word that wants to come out, which is, I was going to say more like, no, that works. That is the best probably word. It's like it's unifying. It unifies or grounds and calibrates, in a practical kind of sense, is how I'm seeing it. It's almost coming through as like your frequency, your resonance, your vibration. I'm just seeing like energy that's like rippling out from you. So yeah, it would be like the resonance that you're sending out that is affecting all the energy around you. And then it's like through making that very aligned and clear, the ripple is stronger. It's like you have a greater influence. And there's this like effect where it seems like luck, it seems like serendipity, but really it's because it's grounding and harmonizing your frequency. Okay. That stone is like talking to me right now directly. So anyways, I don't really completely know if that has any true like scientific proof, but that is what I'm getting from that. Okay. So maybe you want to work with it with that intention. A lot of it is intention as well, right? When we use something as a tool. And this is also part of the message because it was talking about how it can be used for tools or weapons. And it's kind of like, I'm just thinking of like the difference between a tool and a weapon. Again, it's maybe almost the difference between toughness and hardness. One of them again has, well, they have different purposes. So the intention is important. There's something about that, and grounding the intention. But also like following, as you build those intentions or form those intentions, don't be afraid to follow your feminine, like intuitive senses and instincts, but then like act on them in a grounded and aligned way. So yeah, let's get into the cards now. The reading itself, we're going to start by just looking at your energy, your signifier at this time, at least pertaining to this part of your life, and your current point of focus. And then we'll work through kind of some intellectual, spiritual, and creative layers and look at what you might be deepening your comprehension around or integrating, and what's aligning and confusing you, sort of like taking you allowing you to integrate that more easily versus throwing you off track or holding you up. What your kind of spiritual engagement or trajectory is right now and what is supporting you there. How your creative energy and intention is taking form and where that motivation is coming from there, what's fueling that. And then, yeah, we'll just see what's coming in the immediate future and sort of get a big picture thing before I let you go. Okay. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble just like stringing sentences, just basic words together here. So let's hope that this improves. But yeah, let's get into the flow of things here. And we're going to start by looking at you and your current point of focus. So I was taking a drink of coffee there quickly. Okay. You, the Three of Swords. Okay. Current point of focus, the Page of Cups. Okay. Well, that might be the feeling in the stomach. You guys see a little closer? Okay. Well, let's get some clarifying energies here. Okay. But it feels like there is something that you're thinking about from the lens of pain, of like, okay, well, that hurts. That's still a little bit tender. You know, when I touch that, I definitely feel it. I know that I'm touching that, you know. It's almost like a place where maybe there was a break or like a deep bruise and there's still a little bit. It's like when you run your hand across it, you can still feel it a little bit, but it doesn't feel as though you're in like the most intense part of this, because it's not coming through as you necessarily being heavily in your emotions. It's more like you're receiving a very strong clarity that is like with all the purple and then the blue of the knives that are through this person. That is like the crown and the third eye chakra, and maybe some of the throat chakra as well. But it's all about communication, whether that is divine communication, galactic, telepathic, or a communication just like with yourself, with spirit, with those around you. It's about the way that you look at things and truth, how you come to your truths, how you frame the world that you engage with. And with the Three of Swords, this is you gaining perspective around pain, around, again, something that has felt painful. And it's interesting because it's like what's giving you this perspective is what you're focused on, right? Because this is your current point of focus, but it's bringing you into this energy, which is your signifier. So it's kind of like causing whatever this Page of Cups is, it's kind of causing, as a mirror effect, you to go to a specific place inside of yourself and look at something here and maybe ask yourself some questions about how you process pain, how you move forwards after pain. Tell me more about this Three of Swords. Why is this the energy that group 3 is in right now? I feel like you really are walking with some divine entities or energies or archetypes here, or just embodiments. I'm not really sure how you work with energy specifically, but I'm seeing like all this purple, right? Wow, I just saw that for the first time. I'm also seeing, I never noticed about this card until literally just now, there's a hand coming out of the purple clouds above, and he is like, as he's falling, reaching up for it. The truth will save you. The truth will set you free. It's like with the Three of Swords, the way that you free yourself and move from the pain into the Four of Swords, which is peace of mind. The only way to get there is to see the absolute truth of a situation and allow that to strike you. That is the grabbing of the hand. And in doing that, it shifts something about the way that you're perceiving a painful situation. And, you know, through it's the shifting that sets you free. That's the liberation. You're being liberated from, again, it's not a feeling. It's like a mental state or a perspective that then can be very... The thing is, like, our mentalities can be incredibly pervasive in our lives, right? There's something with this Page of Cups, which is a very, like, innocent, pure-hearted energy. But I was actually going to point something else out before I saw this hand, and I forgot about it. Got excited about the random arm reaching there. I was going to point out that he's not wearing any shoes. He has bare feet. And Pisces rules the feet. And Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, a very, very, very deeply spiritual sign, very telepathic, and I mean, also very deeply feeling, but I feel like, you know, Pisces is the end, the last sign, the last feminine sign, the last water sign. They kind of embody the maiden, mother, and crone. They kind of embody the wisdom of intuition, intellect, and instinct tied together, seen through the lens of, you know, being a divine mouthpiece and being able to channel that. And also, like, experience and things that have been learned through experience. But here it feels like the path is... I'm seeing someone walking with bare feet down a gravel road. It's giving this energy of, like, something that maybe has felt quite hard. It's like, even here, there's rain that's falling. There's, like, these big thunderbolts crashing around. It's giving this energy of, like, the final hour almost. You're in danger, or you feel like you're in danger. Again, it's the way you're thinking about something. And you're like, at the last second, I'm going to grab this hand, right? But it's not the actual situation with the Three of Swords that is dangerous. It's the way that you're thinking about it or seeing it. So maybe you had been hurt, and the way that you were looking at pain, like you haven't been able to walk away from it. Because, I don't know, maybe you've been calling it love. Maybe you've been calling it like a sacred offering or sacrifice. But I just heard what's left for you. What's left for you? There's something about this very innocent energy, and the Page of Cups is Piscean energy. It's showing you a new way. Because maybe you'd been hurt before and you were looking at pain as though, like, it's constantly, like, imminent, you know, right on my doorstep. Anything, even like what looks innocent or even naive, pure of heart, could end up being this very dangerous situation that sends me spiraling almost. So maybe it's been a bit of a triggering time, or old things have been coming up, like the need to be vulnerable, the need to be intimate, the need to take a risk or take a leap of faith or something that could have triggered the memory of things that hurt you in the past, or what was sacrificed in the past, what you don't want to ever experience or put yourself through again. But yeah, what I get is that you're looking directly at the pain so that you can see the truth and liberate yourself from it. But it feels as though this has been like a prolonged process, something that you have in some way avoided a little bit. And I'm sure that it has been in perfect, like, comfort and alignment and divine timing for you. I'm not saying that, like, oh, you did something wrong, you fucked up the timing. No. It's like whatever you needed to learn, taking the path that you did to get here, is what you've been right all along, you know? But there's something you weren't able to see. And it's like an emotional disconnect with the Ace of Cups in reverse. But it was coming from the way that you were framing something. So maybe it was like, yeah, maybe associating love with pain and then being shut down to love or something, but then not putting that together, like being like, I'm not shut down to love, I'm shut down and defensive against pain, but because you're associating pain with love. Do you see what I mean? It's almost like there's a blind spot that was being missed here in your understanding, maybe, of like what was getting in the way of you. I want to say like living, loving, and expressing yourself and embodying yourself as freely as whatever this energy is that you are focused on. And even if this is just an archetype, like doesn't represent an actual other person in your life that you're focused on, it could just be an energy that you want to embody more. Like you want to get back to this space of kind of like having a bit of a tender heart and seeing life not through a jaded lens, but through these eyes of love, and believing that magic and things are still possible in the world, and that there is something to have hope for, that your hope isn't just going to be dashed on the rocks, you know? Tell me about the Page of Cups. This is also forgiveness, though. So you could be offering yourself forgiveness. Someone could be forgiving you. You could be healing your inner child as well at this time. But yeah, what I'm seeing is there's that connection between how you've been feeling and how connected you've been able to be to your heart space in an authentic way, and a secure way, I want to say, a consistent way maybe. And it's had everything to do with the way that you've thought about love and your heart. But yeah, everything has been turning and unfolding as it has meant to be. Okay, so let's carry on. They didn't want to give anything else about that. So I think that is all the clarification we needed on that. So let's look at what you're learning or integrating a little bit more right now. Truth in reverse and the moon in reverse. Whoa. That's crazy, because I wasn't actually reading reversals out of this deck, and I put the whole deck in the upright position. But this must have flipped out backwards. I feel like that's meant to be there, because again, it's something you weren't seeing clearly, and with the moon in reverse, that's something that's now being revealed to you. The truth that you hadn't been seeing is now setting you free, right? Wow, that was definitely meant to be that way. For sure. Okay. This is more Piscean energy as well. So there's very heavy feminine, yin energy, as well as Piscean energy here. Okay. Let's clarify that a little bit. So you're learning or integrating this truth as it is revealed to you. And it's like you're wiping away. It's very interesting. I almost feel as though you were looking to someone else to do this for you in the past, but I'm getting that it has been the only way that you could truly trust the truth is if you unveiled it yourself. The only way that you could trust it enough to really put your whole heart into it from this place of like purity and trust. Being able to trust, being able to be that all in, that you can show up as the Page of Cups, you know? It's like you had to uncover this truth and come to it and know how you got there, like be able to show your work almost for it to count. It's like nobody else could reflect that specific truth back at you, because you had to see it as the culmination, like when I was talking about Pisces, right? All the different elements that form that discernment of truth. The shared experience, the street smarts, the book smarts, the intellect, the instinct, the intuition, and then like all of our different parts of self or archetypes, the shadow. You know, and with the moon in reverse, this has something to do with your deepest fears, insecurities, shame. It's the places that you want to look the least. So it's not, trust me, you are not the only one that avoids this kind of place within them. And you may not even know that you're doing it. A lot of the time people don't, right? It's just like they start feeling a little uncomfortable when they get too close to something and they pull back, because almost like instinctively, again, it's like they don't want to feel that. But that's where the work is meant to be done. So there's been something that has reflected a lot back to you, but it couldn't take you through this final step here. What's being revealed to you now is, it feels very, very personal. It's coming up from the depths of you. And I feel like with the Chariot there, it's something that's going to give you emotional conviction from this very pure center, the center of your heart. You're not going to be seeing things through the lens of pain and fear anymore. You're going to be seeing things through the portal or the lens of your heart, which is like completely shifts the reality. So I think you're going to see that the reality that this is how you were experiencing reality before, but it hasn't necessarily been true. And again, keep in mind, this is just in one area of your life, right? So Sag season, if you're watching this at the time of release, it could be showing you where you've been limited in terms of your higher learning, or like intellectual rigidity here a little bit. Pluto in Aquarius is also helping us transform that fixed air sort of energy as well, so that we can have more creative and spiritual power and personal power and growth. Yeah, you're kind of seeing how like nothing that unless you say that it's true and frame it as such and speak it into existence, you don't have to really adhere to any like absolute, well, that's just the way it is, like love is pain. It's like you're realizing that you could change your experience through changing your beliefs about things. But something is making you realize this in a very tangible, powerful kind of way, I feel. Okay, so what's aligning you more with this deeper understanding? The Ace of Wands. Oh, man. It just got spicy. All right, I fucking love that. I'm hearing this song by Nelly, and it's called Portia. That's very random that I'm hearing that now. Or maybe it's not random, but maybe you want to listen to that. But the lyrics, he says, hey, little Portia, I want to ride ya. Pretty baby girl, there ain't nothing like you. But back it up, let's roll, roll, roll. He's basically just talking this girl up, but talking about like as a sort of like from the perspective of a car, the Porsche. You sexy thing, you turn me on, I need a private show. Okay, it's a really catchy song. I know it sounds lame, but go listen to it and just trust me on this one. Have a dance party in your underwear in the kitchen. I swear it doesn't disappoint. But the Ace of Wands, this is a really, really fucking beautiful, aligning, supportive energy. Absolutely gorgeous, honestly. It is the spark of divine inspiration and divine intelligence. The Ace of Wands, yeah, it's raw, creative source energy. There's something here that turns you on, but it's not in, how can I say this? It's not that there's like dirty desire and then there's like good desire. It's like there's not good and bad, but there is maybe desire that leads you in the direction of, it's like where the desire is coming from, like what part of you is wanting something, right? Whatever this is, the reframing of your life to look through the eyes more of the Page of Cups so you can experience life that way, it's coming from a very, it's like it's the desire of your heart, of your inner child, of the core, the very center of you, but it's also aligned with you spiritually, and it's also aligned with your truth on those different levels. This is all being revealed to you and hitting you probably, like that's quite huge. You would know though, obviously. But the Ace of Wands is something is like turning you on, but it's coming from this very heart-based place. Temperance in reverse. There might be a little bit of, you might want to lean into this, or it's being recommended that you lean into this, actually. I'm not getting that you're leaning too much into this right now with temperance in reverse. I'm actually getting an energy of restraint or like repression that is not serving you. And I think that is actually tied to the fears that are being cleared out at this time. The desire or the feeling that you need to hold this back. This is kind of like fuel. This is what is pulling you forwards into even deeper alignment. It's going to actually put you in more of a state of inner harmony and help you integrate everything here that you're learning. Yeah, it's going to, oh wow, that's a huge alignment. Look at that. Okay. The Five of Swords and the Five of Wands, both in reverse. Like I said, this is a huge calibration and an alignment. And what's happening is it's giving you this internal state of harmony and peace. And it's releasing tension, internal tension or chaos, places where you're at war with yourself in your spirit and in your mind. The Three of Swords in reverse. So there's that healing. There's the shifting. Again, it's the rippling out, which is aligning or calibrating all those elements of you. And that is when that, there's that Aquarian fixed air energy. That's when that is able to be broken through and kind of healed, created into something strong and not just rigid. Wow. Yeah, something lasting and not just rigid. Something with more meaning and purpose and conviction. It's like the why behind what you do, but it actually really has some meat to it. It's coming from your heart. I love that. It's like you're moving forwards in the chariot, but it's the Page of Cups, like driving the chariot, which is amazing, honestly. Okay. But yeah, I want to say lean into this Ace of Wands because there's something about you've associated again, something with pain. And it's like you have a lot of, yeah, look at that, the Ace of Wands again. And the Three of Cups in reverse. It's like you're afraid that it's not going to reconcile or turn out the way you want something here. Like that maybe for some of you, there is some sort of forgiveness. And if this is, again, if you're not just forgiving yourself here in some way as you reframe things, and you'd be forgiving yourself for the ways that you have like limited yourself essentially through holding this perspective. And then that's what allows you to like integrate and evolve beyond it. But there's something here where for some of you too, this could be reversed, and this could be someone going through this that wants to offer you an apology and they're feeling the energy this way. Someone that you're deeply connected to, I want to say like in a spiritual and telepathic way, if that's the case, and emotional, but maybe a Pisces or a Sag. And Aquarius also came up. But there's something you have all this energy for, and it is what is pulling you into deeper alignment. I feel like it is how you're going to get what you actually want by leaning into that energy. But there's also this fear surrounding being hurt and like, oh, well, what if it's too late? What if something can't actually come together? But I feel like that's just all the poison that's kind of being pulled up to the surface to be released here. And as you slowly shift your perspective and it clicks into place, you feel what resonates from the heart, and you'll be able to understand like what is illusion, what is ego, what is defensiveness, what is fear, and what is like legitimate essentially. So lean more into that because it's something that you actually can trust, especially at this time, but you might feel a little bit like vulnerable or exposed because of what's being revealed to you. And you could feel a temptation to not, I don't know, to either withhold even more or like hermit extremely hard, not express yourself. I feel like bold expression from the heart is kind of what is needed at this time, whether it's to yourself or just through your actions. Okay, so what is pulling you out of alignment or confusing you? The King of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. Well, I think that this is, it's a lack of belief in yourself, like not feeling like you have what it takes, a lack of confidence. Again, it's like you might be feeling like something is too late now. That's not true. There's something about feeling like you've either been selfish or again, like you've just been very, like you've made yourself very small, or like you've destabilized or deteriorated or limited your own possibilities or potential. It's like you're seeing where maybe there have been glass ceilings that you placed there and then you kind of didn't see. Essentially like a little bit of self-sabotage that came from a place of insecurity and fear. But there is this energy of like, if you got very hurt in the past by like love, a love sort of situation, and that could be family, friend, whatever, right? Just someone that you love deeply. There could have been an element of physical instability that came from that. So for instance, like maybe you were married, you got divorced, and that, you know, you had to like split all of your stuff, or like they took some things that you really cared about, or you just experienced like, you know, you had to pay a bunch for like lawyer fees, and it just like, it could have been gnarly financially, or made you feel very like even physically sick, almost like your physical body could have suffered or felt very weak. But there's an element of physical instability, like feeling as though your very foundation was shaken by something. But I think you're seeing now how much power you actually gave that situation. And at the time, that's where you were at. But then it's almost like this fear became pervasive and you kind of carried it with you. And every time maybe you tried to, or you started leaning into this inspired sort of desire, you would get pulled back to this desire for like false safety through judging everything through this critical or fearful lens, or being so afraid of instability that you're so rigid that you won't shift anything. Like there's something like that, you know what I mean? But I think it's because at one point you did experience a really big like shakedown, and it had some sort of very real physical impact. It could have even been something like with the King of Pentacles that took physical time. So you could feel like, well, those are the best years of my life that somebody wasted. But there's something that you really don't want to repeat, and it included a huge physical element of loss or, yeah, instability. Okay, so let's move on into more like the spiritual realm of things. We're kind of already deep in it, but you know, everything kind of just bleeds together. So the spiritual engagement or trajectory that you're kind of moving along at this time. Ooh, oh, this is so powerful. Like group 3, you guys are doing the damn thing. You're doing the work. And it's beautiful because like, I hope I'm not triggering you with how clearly I'm talking about the things that you're overcoming and like your fears and things. I know that they're very intimate, and I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to handle with care because I get it. But I'm speaking to you just clearly because it feels like you're at that point where you're like, nah, fuck this shit. I need to see the truth. I don't want to repeat the same patterns. I don't want to have the same blind spots, right? Because it's like you weren't seeing the patterns, you weren't able to break them, your back was to them, but you maybe were still taking at one point like bold action or speaking or acting like in a way where you were quite convinced of something. Again, like you could have been very convinced that you couldn't trust something, or but whatever you're healing and integrating now is allowing you to open your heart a little bit more. And you're doing that through breaking your own old fearful patterns, not through like opening up to things that are, you know, like not opening up to stuff that is going to compromise you or people that are going to compromise your goodness and your beauty, not that. Okay. So the direction that you're moving in here, or how you're engaging spiritually, you're breaking out of the patterns that kept pointing you backwards. It's like every time you would start moving forwards, you'd get flung around by your own pattern, right? And into that like repeat. Like I'm seeing on Spotify or whatever, like the little repeat symbol. It's like the two arrows just going around, right? Or you can put the playlist on repeat. But that's what I'm seeing. It's like flipping that night around. And I feel like it was probably quite confusing and like erratic, and even maybe, yeah, like destabilizing or chaotic feeling, because like the Knight of Swords moves quickly. So it's like being sure of something and moving based on that certainty and then getting flung around. And there's all this energetic like build up and desire behind that that's also giving that energy. What number is this? Number 12. Okay. So that's like, yeah, I'm getting a lot from that. I kind of want to read the protection message, or what is it? The empowerment message, I think, when it comes out in reverse. This is from the Goddesses deck. It's Ellen of the Ways. Okay, let's see. Let's see what it says. Oh, I turned right to it. Okay, Ellen of the Ways patterns. So it's the alignment message because it came out in reverse. Came out in reverse too. Okay, it says familiar patterns show up when you fall asleep at the wheel of your life, or when you expect things to be a certain way out of habit, right? Whatever conditions are reoccurring for you right now, you're being invited to see them as an opportunity to move beyond the limits of your expected disappointment or habitual behavior. If you do what you have always done, then you can expect the same patterns to continue. If you don't want to repeat a lesson or find yourself back on the same path with the same people, same conditions and results, then you must choose to think, do, and be differently. The goddess known as Ellen of the Ways offers this alignment task. Make a commitment to change your way and choose to allow for new paths to be explored. It's time to take a look at your need to always wonder if the other shoe will drop. Yeah, and how you remain in familiar territory. Although you're not content, Ellen will show you the way out. You just need to want to follow. And then the next one is New Beginnings. The next card is New Beginnings. It's very interesting. And the card after that is Wise Leadership. So I feel like this new beginning is like, you're actually going to feel like you can authentically and with true confidence, grounded confidence that comes from like doing the shadow work, seeing the patterns, piecing everything together, and then creating a state of internal harmony and balance, because you are breaking the patterns that were controlling you from your subconscious and not allowing you to live authentically, right? And causing you to like speed in and then speed out of something and repeat these patterns, which feels quite exhausting. You're creating this internal state of harmony that allows you to take sovereign, empowered, bold action forwards, and to know why you're doing that and where it's coming from, and to trust yourself to engage and commit in a devoted, consistent kind of way that where you're not constantly at risk of being pulled out of something beautiful by fear of something happening that has maybe happened to you before, but is not happening in the present. Okay, so essentially like reliving your past or recreating your past maybe as well. All right, so let's carry on here. What's supporting you externally in your, like most in your spiritual growth at this time here in this area? Let's see. The Four of Pentacles. It's the things that you're clinging to that are showing you what needs to change the most. The places in your life that are the most rigid, or the places where you're like, ooh, that would be the most work to shift that. Or not that it necessarily has to be something that's going to be like super labor intensive and feel like a lot of work, but I feel like With the Four of Pentacles, it's about an established foundation. But here it's interesting because there's all this, again, deep blue and purpley color, which is, again, the third eye and the crown. And these gold pentacles are kind of like rusted or worn out. You see, the one that she's holding is like she's shone it up and from holding on to it so tightly, but it's just one pentacle and the others are kind of like rotting away. So I feel like there's cornerstones of your foundation here that are very stubbornly not wanting to be shifted. But that's actually like, you could be feeling a lot of internal tension and chaos around certain areas of your physical life. I want to say like physical patterns and behaviors that want to shift at this time. So I want to say pay attention to that. Like they want to be witnessed. This is coming up as what is supporting you the most in the healing and like the growth that you are working through right now. That's going to give you so much power in your embodiment and expression of self moving forwards. So it's definitely worth it. But yeah, you could be a little frustrated. Like, why do things feel like they're falling apart? And it's because your perspective is shifting completely. And so, yeah, then that has implications on it. It ripples out through your life first, right? Your resonance shifts. And so therefore, like how you relate or resonate to everything else around you is also going to be different a little bit. How you even yourself resonate or relate to your physical reality and what you feel, like how you define stability and your truth, how you define harmony or balance or fulfillment or desire, healthy desire. But these foundational areas that have been outgrown or that are just rusted, it's like they need to be shone up. They need to be redefined because some of them are in alignment with old patterns and old ways of perceiving that are not serving you. So the reason that that is the biggest support is because it's your cognitive dissonance that's being highlighted here. And cognitive dissonance, yeah, it's because you want to take a leap out into something new. And so you're needing to like align, because with the Fool, you have to jump with your whole self. All of your bodies have to be in it, present and leaping together. So your heart, your head, your body, your spirit, everything has to be in it. And so that's why this alignment is going on. And cognitive dissonance is just basically when internal conflict or tension is created because either basically we have like, we're not walking the talk, or like our belief systems or what we say is our integrity. Basically, we're not actually, like, our actions are not in aligned with our beliefs. And so then we have this like moral dilemma sort of playing out internally that creates tension because our mind is like, but we believe this, but we're not doing that. You know what I mean? So there's basically 3 ways to relieve that and come back into a state of personal coherence. And it is, you either change the belief because you're going to continue acting in a specific way, but realize that the belief is no longer in alignment with you. You're going to change the pattern or the action because you're going to say, okay, maybe I just need more discipline here because that is a belief that is still very resonant and important to me, but I'm not acting in accordance with it. So my behavior needs to shift. Or you can just decide that it's something that is quite like low on the totem in terms of like things you actually care that much about or like prioritize, and that you are okay with living with the tension, basically. Okay, so there's something that's happening, but it has to do with these areas of your foundation, your current physical foundation, that don't actually feel fulfilling or expansive, but they might feel comfortable or safe. Okay. So your creative intention is taking form in this way. Ooh, movement, speed, and the High Priestess. Oh my gosh. I absolutely love this High Priestess card. I'm going to see if I can actually show you it, that you can see. You might not be able to. Ooh, you might be able to. Can you see? It's kind of difficult. She's holding a pomegranate and it's like dripping down her outline. And she herself is kind of like this, like wafy, sort of ghost-like, barely there outline. Just kind of the veil itself, you know. This deck just, you know, absolutely stunning. Okay, so you got that with movement, speed. By the way, more Piscean energy. Very strong Cancerian and Piscean energy here. Movement and speed in the High Priestess. Okay, so basically your creative energy it's creating physical movement in your life. Some of you are going to be moving. Some of you feel intuitively this coming on already. That could have also been the feeling that I picked up at the beginning when I said I felt that like that anticipation kind of instinct energy. That could definitely be something as well. So if you've been feeling that, it could just be, this is your validation that is, you're intuitively picking up on the energy that you are shifting through shifting your own perspective. And so that's why the integration process is also something that you can't rush, and you need to take care of yourself while you're going through it as well. Or I'm not going to say what you need to do, but it's very beneficial to take care of yourself extra when you're going through that process, because there are a lot of shifts that are taking place, and energetically often we can be quite sensitive when we're expanding in that way, right? So there is stuff that's moving and picking up speed. A lot of it is happening in the subtle realms, but you're feeling it, and it is taking form, and you're moving with this intuitive knowing. But yeah, some of you are moving, some of you are just really shifting the way that you do life physically. What kind of like cultural norms you adhere to, or whether you're more of a rebel. And yeah, some of you are more of a rebel. There's something that you have not reconciled though. You've been trying to move forwards because you have emotional conviction around it, but there's been grief that your inner child has held on to. We've seen all 4 of the 5s now, by the way. That's the 5 of Pentacles and Cups around the Page of Cups again. And before, the 5 of Swords and the 5 of Wands came out in reverse. There's been a lot of destabilization and chaos. And it's been when you've gotten deeply emotionally, or when you've offered this very pure, like part of you that has faith. And again, belief in magic, belief in that really beautiful kind of love. You've been trying to move forwards because deep down you are this Page of Cups. You still have that belief. It's just, it's brought, maybe you've shared those parts of yourself with people that just couldn't hold or care for them safely, or understand them or see them clearly for their own reasons. And the way that that hurt you went a lot deeper than you realized. The way that that wound then continued to pull the strings behind the scenes was also something that you weren't seeing, that became this patternized thing. And you had these beautiful intentions that came from this very pure desire. You wanted to push forwards. The emotional conviction has been there. But there's been something, this transformation that has not been reconciled yet. And it's Plutonian energy. So it is actually this emotional energy of grief, and maybe abandonment or rejection or loss, scarcity that wants to be transformed and transmuted to fuel your movement forwards rather than hold you back and keep flipping you into a repetitive cycle. So let's see. Something is really kicking off for you here though, but let's look at your deeper motivation, and we're going to look at kind of like what your overall motivation is as you move forwards, but also what your motivation is that's coming from a conscious place and what is coming from more of a subconscious place that's still impacting your drive. Okay, so overall, ooh, you got the... Okay, so this is an extra card in this deck, and it's like basically the mystery card. Well, that's what I call it. It doesn't have anything on either side. So they all have backs that are like this, but this one is just a completely blank card. You're in the void. You're in the womb. It's almost like you're not completely clear on what your motivation forward is right now, because this tempering process is still happening. So there is the definite need to focus on, like, be very tender with yourself and try not to spiral into thinking about the parts of yourself that feel very like out of sync. As the truth integrates and things come to light, you're actually calibrating, right, with the truth. So it feels chaotic because a lot of things are shifting right now, but they're shifting into a place of harmony and balance, out of a place of being imbalanced, okay? So try to trust that, try not to resist it, but it feels like you aren't completely sure where your motivation is really coming from right now, because there's a disoriented energy here, and like very high, just high sensitivity to energy, high levels of energy, all of that kind of thing going on around you. So be gentle with yourself at this time. Okay, but your subconscious motive, ooh, so it's the crown chakra, and it says enlightening, arise. The trigger statement, there has to be more than this. Yeah, and because it came out in the reverse, you are more in the trigger statement than the true statement, which is I create my world. You are ready for a higher level of awareness and transformation. Exactly. So you're being enlightened at this time because your soul wants you to rise, because there is more than this. The trigger statement is actually kind of true, but it's not something that you're meant to be to stay stuck on. Like, there's more than this, right? You're aware that there's more than pain and chaos, and questioning everything and moving in and moving out and being all confused. You're learning how, like, once you have that baseline truth fully integrated, you have a higher level of awareness and discernment, and you're able to have a lot more control over the life that you're creating from that point. So that is actually your soul from a subconscious place. You're being driven or motivated by this. Like, there is more than just living out of fear and pain, the remembrance of pain. And on a conscious level, you're motivated by, again, clarity. See, trigger statement, I'm so confused. True statement, I am present. It's a third eye chakra card again. Allow your mind to clear and let the noise of your thoughts fall away. Listen to your intuition. So you are motivated by having been very confused and knowing that you need to be grounded and present in order to let this clarity come to you. Wow. Well, that's really powerful, group 3. Holy shit. Okay. So while you might feel like you're confused, you're not. You're actually in the pursuit of truth. So it might feel, you could feel confused just because there's a lot unknown, because everything is shifting, but you internally, like I said before, you're gaining clarity. Not the other way around. Things are not falling apart, they are falling together. Okay, so just remember that when things feel a little bit wild or twilight zoney, because with all of these upper chakra energies, things probably do feel quite weird. Right now things might be feeling weird, especially if you're timeline jumping through this healing, which basically is just like you're entering a whole new existence. You're shifting timelines because you're shifting a perspective that's so fundamental that it's totally changing your trajectory and the way that you engage with life. So yeah, time could feel weird. Your energy levels could feel weird. Your clarity, like you could feel quite confused or just hazy. Your dreams could be weird. You could be getting headaches. You could feel like you have anxiety or racing thoughts. So just try to deal with all of that by, again, being present and knowing that your thoughts and emotions, you are not them. You are the consciousness that is behind them, that can witness the messages that they are giving you, okay? So just remind yourself of that too. All right, so to close, let's look at what is coming up next in the immediate future, and then what the kind of big picture theme or phase is, that kind of what the last thing about your growth in this phase that Spirit wants to talk about. So what is coming up in the immediate future for my motherfucking dope ass group 3s? Oh, I love to fucking see it. So there's the another 5 again. Coming out in this deck is the 5 of Cups in reverse with progress, which says advancement, gaining recognition, appreciation, achievements, acceleration, steady gains, and increased clarity. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You're progressing. You're moving away from grief. You're just not even really giving it any attention anymore, because it was your focus on, again, like that pattern card said, it's like waiting for the other shoe to drop. Your focus, your continued focus, especially in the way that you were looking at it, you were feeding a very specific kind of energy into your life through that belief, right? When you continually focus on and feed energy or attention into something and it's weighing on you as heavily as this has been, that feeds that energy and it creates or magnetizes more of it in your life most often, because it's the energy that you are feeding, right? You're not doing it on purpose, but you're making progress here through turning your face towards the sun, looking at the advancements that you have made, appreciating your achievement, seeing the clarity that you have gained and seeing how far you've come, and being able to celebrate that as you release your attachment to this heavy baggage, this grief that is ready to be shed. Anything else about what's coming in the near future here? So you're going to continue making progress. You're going to feel more and more clear and confident as you do that, and more centered as well, I'm feeling. More grounded, more centered in yourself and your personal truth in the near future. I want to say things feel very chaotic right now, almost like with all those 5s. It's like you're in the thick of it, you know? But I feel like this reading for you guys is meant to be validation, like hold on. You're just weathering the storm here. But again, it's bringing you into alignment. It's bringing you into clarity. And you'll be able to see how far you've progressed soon. Okay, they're not clarifying. So let's look at the closing part here, the big picture theme or phase. The rattle and the chariot in reverse. Damn. The chariot in the upright came out before. That's the Cancerian card. Okay. So this is what's being highlighted at this time, or what Spirit really wants you to know. Luna just sneezed. I don't know if you guys heard that. Okay. I'm going to read this to you, the rattle. And then I'll talk about this a little bit more. 43. Okay. Let's see. Whoa, I'm flipping to everything in your group, just like first flip here. Okay. Page number 88 as well. For some reason that's standing out, so that may be significant. And again, I'm noticing this card is 43, so it's like it's almost 8, but something is still clicking into place. So the essence It says the rattle is the spirit caller, carrying the shaman's prayer to the 4 directions. The body of the rattle is like the earth spinning on its axis. With the aid of the rattle, the medicine woman instills a desired destiny in her future, closing with the prayer, Great Spirit, may your will be done. The rattle guides us to pray for all of the earth, not just our personal needs. When we offer our prayers for the highest good of all, everything we need is provided for us. The invitation. The rattle comes to invite you to work with the tools of spirit, but be careful, for they are sharp and can hurt you and others if they're not used mindfully. Set your old tools aside and take up the drawing instruments of spirit. You are consciously stepping into partnership with the divine. This is the time for courageous deeds. Do not let your hesitation get in the way of your expression. And the medicine. You want to catch God on the whisper, not on the shout. What you're trying to craft to your own desires and expectations is already there, standing before you. Do not spin the world to your own benefit. You're being offered the Creator's tools, which must be put to use to serve a divine purpose. Usually the medicine is more the message when it comes out in reverse, but I just read that anyways for you. So that part may not resonate so much with you, but okay, so the rattle is about, again, having a clearer perspective view and, knowing what your desire is for the future, right? Knowing your own power to instill your desired destiny into your own future. And it's the magician energy. So what is it? It's how you are perceiving, speaking, embodying, and expressing your energy. What you're saying, what the narrative is. That's what Mercury is about, right? That is how you instill a desired destiny into your future. And then you let it go. You have that clear desired destiny. You speak it out with power, and then you say, Great Spirit, may your will be done, and you have a generous and gracious attitude. You give back, you pay it forward, and everything that you need is provided to you. So they're saying that the reason why things haven't been provided, certain things haven't been provided, is because this is where the block has been. Like the Chariot is the card that pulls you forwards in powerful progression in your life. And again, it's because you have that connection to that desire, that healthy desire, and you have the emotional conviction that is fueling it. So it's been like the lack of connection to, maybe to fully connecting to your desire in a healthy way, right? Too much like restraint or repression here based on fear. But there's also something where they say something about working with the tools of spirit and needing to use them mindfully, needing to use new tools, not ones that you've used in the past. So for some of you, that's coming through as like forms of manifesting. Like maybe, I don't know if any of you would be the kinds of people that would do like a love spell or like, I don't know, hopefully not. If you are, I would suggest doing maybe like just looking into it a little bit more. Because it does certain things when if you're doing anything that kind of messes with somebody else's or aims to work with somebody else's free will, there's always like different stuff that comes into play to take into consideration there. But I'm getting more that like you have been using your own manifestation tools and power of expression to the divine, basically in a sharp way against yourself without knowing, and maybe defensively towards others who are, coming from a basically pure of heart place. But it's like you weren't really seeing things clearly because from a destabilized and unclear spot, not reading desire, not reading your desire. It's like your desire was distorted or you were seeing it unclearly. So you would let it guide you and then like take it back, which actually wasn't balanced. It was just like flip-flopping, which isn't the same as a constant state of harmony or, mostly consistent state of harmony. There's still ebbs and flows, obviously, but basically I'm thinking that, yeah, your hesitation has gotten in the way of your expression, and it is time now to step into conscious, courageous partnership with your own divinity. Again, you as the mouthpiece of the divine. And so that you cannot hurt yourself by, you know, having these unconscious things be what you're speaking out into the universe, and having that anticipation come from a place of expecting fear, even from love, from beautiful things, right? All of this is being cleared up for you, but now you're kind of learning how to hear true intuition and not just like fearful or anxious ruminations, I feel like, as well. So is there anything else that you want me to relay to group 3 before I let them go? But let me know if this reading resonated with you guys, if you enjoyed it. It was quite interesting. Let's see. The Knight of Wands. Don't be afraid of that desire. Like, follow your passion. Just make sure that it is aligned, right? Make sure that you know where it's coming from and that it's coming from an aligned place, which has a lot to do with you seeing through the eyes of your heart here, moving forwards. But it's like your confidence is coming. Yeah, your confidence in your forward motion is coming from your connection to your heart. Yeah. That King of Cups, baby. Big old cup. So freaking sexy. Okay, so but we have got a lot of fire here too with the Queen and Knight of Wands. For some of you, there is something that, it doesn't have to be a person, but there's something that you are very freaking attracted to. Like, it's a big dream. It's a big desire. Maybe so big that you've been a little intimidated by your pull to it, or like how badly you want it, right? Because what if it doesn't go the way that I want? And there's some serious weight in this. Like, your heart is already, I feel like, invested. It's just that may have scared you into acting kind of like in old, erratic, or patternized or conditioned kind of ways, or even just thinking in them and then kind of like having this self-fulfilling prophecy of sabotage, or yeah, just manifesting stuff that you don't really want more of. But I'm seeing that the more you gain this confidence in your discernment of your own desired destiny, the more that you trust your heart and your spirit to push you, to pull you forwards. It's like you trust that what you're being pulled towards is not some tempting like thing that's like luring you to your death from outside of you. It's something inside of you that is pulling you home, or pulling you to something that you're meant to experience. And that's what that powerful pull is. Not something that you need to be afraid of, but something that a very like pure and powerful part internally is reacting and responding to, that you can then choose how to respond to in turn. And I see you making a lot of progress in that. So that is fucking beautiful. All right, group 3. It's been a long reading. We knew it was going to be. I love you so fucking much, though. I hope this was helpful. I'm going to leave it there, though. I'm pretty sleepy now. But I'm sending you lots and lots of love, as always. And I'll talk to you again soon, okay? Bye.